Hello and welcome to Speedgaming. Welcome to the online portion of the in-person tournament. This is OOT Randomizer, so Zelda Ocarina of Time, the randomizer. So if you might notice that we have all kinds of items in all kinds of places. That's how it's meant to be. I'm Tobias. With me today on commentary is Star, one of the admins of the tournament. Star, how are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Can't complain. Looking forward to a great match today. Majarkin and anglhz, both amazing runners and both very experienced. Let's see what we have. We have the light medallion to start, so no pre-completed dungeon. We have Sun Song as our starting song next to Prelude, so that's not really that helpful. So
no,
we'll
until we get the Soul Seed.
Yeah, that's true.
We shall see. For those who are wondering, this is part of the in-person tournament that is taking place in Herndon, Virginia later this week, but Speedgaming staff has been gracious enough to allow us to play some group matches online to help a little bit with scheduling, because these races can take 3 hours. And it helps a little bit just with scheduling to make sure people can get all their matches in, particularly as anglhz is one of our players who is playing in other tournaments too.
Yeah,
between anglhz is an ALTTPR and might be 1 or 2 besides that.
Between this tournament taking 2 to 3 hours to complete a single race and other tournaments also, that is certainly a great thing that we can do some group stage matches online. Death Mountain Crater, Hyrule Castle, Lake Hylia, and Zora's Domain as foolish locations. All in all, not too bad. I mean, Hyrule Castle is a bit sad because, yeah, that's a foolish hint wasted on a single check location, but other than that, pretty good.
Yeah. Seeing immediate divergence, Majarkin's going to go to outside Ganon's castle for time of day, and then it's going to presumably head for Zora's River, which is an early play we saw a lot in the online tournament, which earlier this year, which Majarkin is also in. Lost to Zizi in semis, and we've commonly seen this. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, anglhz meanwhile is farming some rupees on presumably to buy a shield pretty soon.
I'd assume so.
See that.
And yes, we do have Doggo Cam from Majarkin common running theme on his stream. I am having a brain fart on this particular one's name, but yes, that is intentional.
That is Freya.
Thank you. And oh, hey, we've got the.
And there's Apello as well.
Yep. Yeah, early divergence here. Majarkin playing to River, which we saw a lot in the online tournament as well. I'm not surprised we're seeing it here. Do note, by the way, although we see best of 3 Triforce indicators on the screen, it's not actually best of 3. This is groups. We are doing round-robin groups of 4. Top 2 runners from each group move on. 2 brackets. There are 6 groups in total, since we have 24 runners this year, and for a 12-person single elimination bracket.
Yep. So our early divergence also brings us to the fact that we are seeing a bunch of checks at the same time. We have Men on Roof giving anglhz a Goron tunic, so that's useful, and we get our first path into Dodongo's Cavern on the path to Phantom Ganon, and I think I saw a double hint for...
That was Top of Fire, I believe. BGS and Junk.
I see.
And Fox 2 is dead. Always a good hint. There are a lot of things going on right now. Yes, early play here to River from Majarkin. One we've seen a lot. We keep showing ourselves on this, but this is a good early play for hints and for a couple extra items. Hookshot being very much worth that trip. Good grief.
Yeah. Speaking of couple extra items, there is a trick to get to this platform as adult without needing anything like hover boots or a chicken as a kid, and Majarkin executing that setup flawlessly, grabbing that hookshot, Even if Majarkin had found no items at all in the river, this would still have been worth it for the hints alone. Hints are very powerful, especially in quick settings like SGL settings. They give a lot of information, can give the runners a lot of input on where they might want to go next. In this case, this hint gave us the information that Kakariko Village's path to Morpha. Not
Which
quite,
might
I would say.
be for Requiem.
Yeah, might very well be for Requiem. Not quite a surprise that Kakariko will hit Village, a path-hinted location, because the reason that anglhz is headed to Kakariko straight away is that it is chock full of easily accessible, early accessible checks that our runners can look at. I assume Majarkin will actually be headed there as well.
Yep, usual play. He could go into domain with those hover boots, and I think he might have been considering it for a second, but it's really not. He doesn't have a bottle. It's not worth a trip for one hint in domain right now. So that will be something for another time. Part piece here for anglhz. We are seeing vanilla models for both runners as okay. Med check. Before I forget, DC's are forest med. DC forest or Deku's are forest med. Deku forest water are stones, and then Jabu's spirit are required medallions. This is slightly different run conditions from our typical OOT racing settings, which have the second medallions as our win conditions. Here we have it as the 3 rainbow stones open the bridge, so that's DC, Forest, and Water, and then the Shadow and Spirit medallions give you the Garen's Castle Bosky, that's Spirit and Jabu. You start with Light Medallion, so the Light Medallion, when it is not vanilla, replacing the medallion you get from Rower in the vanilla game, has a pre-completed dungeon. Unfortunately, it's the pocket medallion today, so nope.
Randomizer deciding that we should be engaged in this seed a little bit longer than normal.
Yep. Skulls are dead for 20 and 30. Thank you. Was busy reading off the med check. Do note that one of the things is that we see path hints. This has replaced way of the hero hints that we used to see in older seasons of Ocarina of Time randomized attorneys. Path hints tell you that there is an item in that area logically required to beat that boss, for all intents and purposes. It can get a little more nuanced in other settings, but here it's just, you need this item to beat this dungeon. So in the case, which gets particularly interesting in SGL settings because we have layered win conditions. We've got first Rainbow Bridge and the Garen's Castle Bosky. If an item is on the path to the Rainbow Bridge, it cannot be hinted to the boss key medallions. So in this case, Spirit being the Shadow medallion, and Forest being the Kokiri Emerald, with Requiem path to Phantom Ganon, Water being the Sapphire, with Requiem being path to Morpha potentially means Morpha might have eaten our Twin Robot path today if that Requiem's required for Spirit access.
It's certainly starting off convoluted. We're gonna have to keep an eye on this and see where this leads. Majarkin used Sunsong that I think anglhz didn't grab.
I'm pretty sure we didn't see that big chest. It's just the double defense, at least. Yep. Likely just a brain fart from anglhz. It's easy to forget sometimes what song you start with.
Yep.
Do know that since we started with Prelude, one of the 12 song checks is replaced with an item. Which one is random? That's hover boots in the crate. I missed that earlier. But we'll need that later, potentially. Not guaranteed since Shadow's the fire med, but that might be.
It's good to know that those are there.
Yep.
In any event.
It does tell us that hovers are probably not our logical access to that hookshot in river, given that the access to river is also our access. Because the access to that check in river is either by those hovers or beans, or child river access, which would also get you beans to go get those hovers. So probably something else. Yeah, river access unlocks hovers and hookshot pretty much top file. And that could be other Bombagra skills. Okay, good. anglhz remembers the Sunsong Grave. Not required, but double defense is a nice safety, and it's also peace of mind. Don't have to worry about, oh great, I forgot that check earlier.
Well, At least there's that. Oh, hey! Dompe has an important item for us. That is magic. The ability to use Hid's Fire,
Wait.
Ferori's Wind, or, well, less useful Neighbor's Love.
Oh no, did Angles miss the sub-minute on that? Because he did not pick that up. I thought it was like a rupee or something, I now realize.
Honestly, yeah, he must have had trouble there.
Because I know he picked, because I know he did Dompe race, and he, yeah, Engels got rupees from him, which I honestly haven't seen someone fail the sub-minute in a while, so I don't. So I don't know if that's just vanilla behavior that they should give you rupees. So they are very much playing the same seed as you get ZL from the Colossus.
Yep.
Which also might be part of why Requiem's path to Morpha. ZL can't be directly hinted path, but it can be indirect by way of Requiem there.
Yep.
It can be Fire Temple.
Okay, so that's the top of Fire Temple, second copy. Cool. Yeah, it can be. It can be on the way to Zelda's Lullaby. If you just allow Zelda's Lullaby to be hinted as a path item, you're basically going to burn one path hint every seed just for Zelda's Lullaby.
Yeah.
That's just because Zelda's Lullaby is a required item in any OOT Randomizer seed.
Yep. Tell me around, there are 2 magics in the item pool, but whether or not the other is accessible is a very different story.
Yeah, traditionally, the game likes to troll you by putting the second magic in places like Shadow Temple, which are entirely locked by having access to the first magic. So yeah,
doesn't help. Shadow is also unrequired.
Yep. Angles not finding that magic or not picking up that magic is a big deal. Now it's Majarkin's turn to have a quick look at the medallion and stone layout in this race. While Angles is headed child. Basically a standard opener from Angles here.
Yeah, just to confirm, someone in chat mind checking Angles' VOD to verify he just missed the sub-minute, because that feels bad.
Yeah, otherwise I would be really confused as to why he didn't pick up the magic.
Yeah. Thank you, Telmiron. And yeah, feel free to ask questions. But yeah, magics are kind of like progressive bows in ALTDPR, where the second one really doesn't do a whole bunch of anything. I remember seeing your name around ALTDPR, so I use that as a reference. Kind of like progressive bows. First one is required, second one doesn't do a whole lot. Sure, your silvers could be available in ALTTPR, or they could be on Helmasaur, hard bow locked, because game does things. He got a 101. Oof.
Oh no. Here's hoping that he. I mean, it's a choice.
That you still get a reward, like a quote-unquote reward for on the second check for not making the sub-minute, because I haven't seen people do that in a long while.
That is actually interesting. Sorry. Let me focus
you might not have realized
really
SFM Past to Baronade is an interesting hint, likely for one of the songs, or maybe both, we don't know.
Songs or one single item check is what that could be. So
I think that's a bloopy on the arch, so we're good.
If you are a less experienced or a runner who might not have run OTR in a while, and you get an item from Dompe, even if it's just a 20 rupee piece of if it's just a red rupee, you might assume, oh, I've gotten 2 items from Dompe, so I'm done with this, and I don't need to return here. So this could be really bad for Angles. On the other hand, the other option is just that he basically kept the check in mind, but just decided he's going to gamble that he will not have to return here for that one single check. Because what are the odds, after all? There's 200 checks in this game.
It's closer to 250, I think, usually in this kind of racing settings.
True. Oh!
Nocturne the Composer Grave. Alright, we can go pick that up whenever we get back to CAC, because we have ZL now. Fantastic. Yep. Let's see, what else? Yeah, the other thing, too, is it was a 101. I think I do remember Engels getting briefly turned around before realizing, wait, I'm going the wrong way, so that might have been why he just missed the sub-minute. And especially because it was a 101, like, just missed it. He might not have realized, oh, I just missed it. Like, if it was a 105, okay, you probably noticed I missed it. But 101...
Yeah. Magic is not required, asks someone in chat. Yes, it is required because you need it to fuel the light arrows. And you need the light arrows to beat Ganondorf.
Yep, it might not necessarily be hard required for anything else. We know that the Composer Grave chest is dead from that hint a minute ago from Angle, so we don't need it for that. We might not need it for Spirit, and we depends on the seed, and then Shadow's not required. But
yeah.
So the odds are decent. There's a second magic of there's a chance that second magic is available somewhere, but also it can be almost anywhere because it might not necessarily lock a lot. We don't know.
We'll see.
And it'll even be just littler things, like they start with Ferore's Wind in these settings, and so that Majarkin might be able to use that to get around places more quickly, whereas Angles won't have that. Until he finds a magic meter, wherever that is.
Angles is now, I think, waiting for time of day in Hyrule Castle, which... Oh, he has Sunsong, but he doesn't...
You have Sunsong. Yeah, I'm not sure what he's doing. Perhaps just having a think about routing. I've seen Angles on commentary for the online brackets. I'm not sure how familiar he is with this game as a runner, but that is probably just a oops, I forgot.
Yeah.
He does know how Sunsong works, I'm pretty sure. I think this is just he forgot about it.
He has played Sunsong in this very seat before, so that is clearly just a little brain fart there.
It happens.
Anyway.
It's just a feels bad. Shouldn't be too much longer though. And
Yep,
I expect he'll follow Majarkin to the ranch here. Adult spawn is vanilla there in Temple of Times we saw at the start of the seed. Child spawn is random. It is likely we will see a save quit out of the silo at the back of London Ranch after they do these checks here for both runners.
Yep, that is the usual place because it's just at a place in London where you just have to walk back out to the entrance and can't do anything else for a while. So the other option is just to save quit out of there and give you more information about where the child spawn is, because that can have logical implications. If your child, for example, hello, Goron Bracelet. If your child, for example, spawns in on the far side of the Gerudo Valley Bridge, it is in logic to get the Gerudo Pass as a child and open up the bridge for adult, even without Epona or a long shot.
Yep, it does require Kokiri's Logic to kill the guards, and thank you, Chad, for correcting us. It's the child spawns the castle ferry, which is how Angles ended up there. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
That makes sense.
I see.
And Bolero on Malin will give us a new song once we get there back there as adult. Yeah. Gorilla Guard's Logic can require Kokiri's from this child, just as a side note.
Yeah, that's true. It's possible, but because Kokiri's sword is only a single item in the game, it is a rather rare condition, but it does happen occasionally. I've been bitten by that before, so I have that in the back of my mind always.
Oh yeah, there are definitely some interesting quirks that can come up with entrance random of any kind, including spawn random.
Mm-hmm.
Majarkin hasn't checked the save place. He's gonna do that, but right now our warp songs are Bolero and Requiem, so we're not getting anywhere fast as child today.
Well, we have Nocturne ready and waiting for us whenever we want to pick that up.
Still have to go walking though, as there's the save art for Majarkin.
Majarkin is going to use that to probably... Oh, he's not going to use that. Never mind. He's going to try and make it back to market in time for daytime to still be a thing. Oh no, he wants to check night market. I see.
Semi-classical setting. It is, let's see, fairly basic, simple settings. I don't want to call it standard because it's a standard rule set, which means there are more or less no glitches allowed for all intents and purposes. But we just have your basic items shuffled. Chests are shuffled, freestanding heart pieces are shuffled. The medallions and stones are shuffled amongst each other between the various dungeons. The songs are shuffled with each other. We don't have shops. We don't have pots. We don't have scrubs. We don't have crates. We don't have cows. And the sculptulas are all golden sculptulas are all still vanilla. Nothing too crazy there.
Oh hey!
They need to collect we saw that earlier. We need the three spiritual stones to open the Rainbow Bridge to Ganon's castle. And we need the Shadow and Spirit medallions to get the Gans Castle Bosky, and that is our win conditions. As well as the Light Arrows, Magic, and Bow to kill Ganondorf with. Also to our trackers, please mark where our medallions are, since that hasn't been done yet. Our required dungeons today are DC, Forest, and Fight Water are our stones, and then Spirit and Jabu are our medallions.
Yep. To note trackers, I pasted the medallion check in Discord.
Yep.
Alright, so, Majarkin is now headed to Kokiri Forest, and I assume anglhz is hot on his heels. So...
It looks like angling the same way. In case anyone's wondering, since I know a lot of people in Speedgaming chat is not as familiar with this randomizer, since we're primarily hosted over on Zelda speedruns and affiliated networks, we're willing to ask questions.
Yeah.
Particularly, I know ALTDPR fairly well, just as a base of reference, if that helps anyone, but we can answer questions and explain what's going on, because we've got time for this. This is a larger game, takes a little bit longer than some of the randos you might be used to seeing here on the Speedgaming channels. Average time on this is probably between 2 to 2.5 hours for top runners. If it goes much above 3 hours, something's gone wrong.
I mean, we saw a 3-hour seed, just barely, earlier today in another one of the group stage matches. But that was all dungeons. It was, and there's the second magic. Okay, so anglhz will not be in trouble for racing that Dante race. Cool.
It was all dungeons, and one of the runners reset like 10 minutes of progress as well, which is the other thing. So it would have been shorter without that.
True.
Minor spoilers. This is our set. Most races are being held in person at the event later this week, I guess, into next week. Really, it's Saturday now. We do have a couple races held online, and we did have one this morning. We've got a couple more tomorrow. No other race streams currently slated for the moment, but we'll certainly have some for in person. You should try and get race streams for these online matches as people are busy preparing to be out for a week. Which gets a little funny with finding people, but we'll see. As gonna get another hint here from Majarkin. Anglhz is not far behind. We don't need to do the Valleyist Child today, always good.
Yep. So Gerudo Valley entirely not required.
And also, yes, Anglhz is very lucky on that double magic being where it is. That could have gotten a lot worse.
Yep. But okay, no concern for him. Dumpe race will not need to be repeated on his side. He'll not end up with that as his last location. And Skull Kid is a blue rupee, so not required at all.
Nope. Hey, bomb juice, that's nice. 5-pack is kind of sad. Womp, womp.
You can stretch those.
Yeah, the safe scumming is going to be a little tricky as child with our safe spawn where it is.
Yeah, you're right. I think
mainly... we're doing this purely online. Device is still in Germany, I am still in New England.
For a few more days.
I believe anglhz is still in Scandinavia, and I'm not remembering his exact nationality off the top of my head, and Majarkin doesn't live in the DC area either. This is being held fully online. From our homes, our trackers also tracking from their homes. Okay, anglhz is Swedish. Thank you, Tell Me. I know he's Nordic, but I couldn't remember which specific country and didn't want to goof. But yes, we are doing this from home still. Although this is for the in-person tournament, since OTR is a bit of a longer game and there's a lot of things going on in just 4 days, Speedgaming staff granted us permission to host some races online, just to help with scheduling a bit. I know, for example, anglhz is also signed up for the Link to the Past Randomizer tourney. Might be a few others I'm not so familiar with, and so nice to get a bit of the scheduling done out of the way early. And yes, we do have Dot Camp.
Cam, one of the best features of Majarkin streams, or one of the exciting value adds that Majarkin streams offer their viewers. All right, back to what's happening in the seed. Majarkin is now on the way to Sacred Forest Meadow. Not much yet that we've seen in the rest of Lost Woods. Anglhz is showing us the boulders here. Skull Kid is another. Is still a blue rupee.
Yep. Nice to have, so you don't have to worry about it later, because that can be a rather irritating check to route in. Sacred Forest Meadow is Path to Baronade, which means there is an item in here that is logically required to beat Baronade. It is not. Jabu is the Spirit Medallion, so it is not logically required to beat any of our stone dungeons, apparently. Well, we'll see what it actually is. It likely leads to Boomerang, if I had to guess. It's one of the things that is likely to be Path to Baronade, but not Path to anything else.
There's a bonus
song. That is interesting. Burning Cack is Saria's song. Later it was on the last with Scrub Grotto.
Burning Cack is Saria's song. Burning Cack is the all dungeons check in this settings, or in these settings rather. It is the check that you can only get if you beat, besides the dungeons that are normally required to beat the game, you also beat the ones for the forest, fire, and water medallions that are, in theory, not required for beating a Speedgaming Live setting seed. So Majarkin might opt to, saves here and will burn a bomb chew on checking the Wolfos Grotto in Sacred Forest.
Which is a big
chest.
To
make sure. It's a big chest. We'll see if that is...
That's Rudo's letter.
Okay.
Which is really interesting. As noted earlier, because we have split win conditions, items that are on the path to the two required medallions cannot, or items that are on the path to the Rainbow Bridge, which in this case is the 3 stones, cannot be hinted on the path to the required medallions. So Rudo's letter cannot lock forest, DC, or water, which is actually really important information.
Mm-hmm. But it is very definitively a path item to Baronade, so that does put
very much needed to get in there. This is not, in fact, Child Spawn in Zora's Fountain, which can happen because we start with Prelude. For the particulars of that entrance random logic. It's not what I'm going to explain right this second.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to... Majarkin didn't leave SFM to go check the 2 Lost Woods bomb grottos, but not a big deal. We'll pick up... Probably check those on the way to Forest Temple, if I had to guess, and that later are needed for at least another hour and a half probably anyway, so we're fine.
Yeah, he will. He knows that he has to pass through Lost Woods at least once more to make it to Sacred Forest Meadow as an adult to beat Forest Temple. So he will do that then.
Yep.
In the meantime,
we can actually get into Forest. Speaking of, I'm thinking about where we could go that might be useful.
Going Song is always a good choice.
On the wall.
Yeah,
we know this is either item or Serenade, and that is Serenade, because Crater is foolish.
Crater is foolish, exactly. So nothing much to be gained here. We know this had to be item or Serenade. So the only quote-unquote useful item we could find here is something like more bomb shoes, which are very useful as long as we don't have a source of a replenishable source of bombs, i.e. a bomb bag.
Yeah. And yeah, Chad mentioning we do have the Dodongo's Cavern path to Phantom Ganon hint. Could be for bow, vanilla bombs, could be for our first scale tile file, for access to that hookshot.
Good point. We do have a strength upgrade easily available, so anything up to and including bomb chest in the Dodongo's Cavern is in fact in logic.
I just had a very concerning thought, by the way.
Uh-oh.
What's our logical Forest Temple access?
So Saria's song is on all dungeons. Where is Minuet is the question.
Let's see. It's not Ice Cavern because Rudo's letter can't be passed to Baronade otherwise.
Yup.
It leaves Prelude and Minuet, which yeah, yay! We're beating Deku Tree apparently for a logical forest access. Great.
Quite honestly, I don't think our runners care that much, considering how easy it is to jump above Mido's head. But it is useful to keep in mind for logical purposes, because this means Forest Temple is presumably rather late in the order of dungeons that the seed expects you to beat.
Yeah, that said, Kokiri Sword might be the path here. Lon Ranch is on the path to King Dodongo.
Okay,
yeah,
so the strength
probably for
upgrade
the strength
is, in
upgrade.
fact, our ticket into Dodongo's cavern, and it locks all the bombs.
Yep,
And everything
that makes
else.
sense,
All the other
honestly.
strength upgrades, all the other bomb bags, is behind that strength upgrade.
That makes sense. I'm not too surprised. It is information, but it's not surprising. Oh, big chest.
Yep.
Or the joke is that Mignot is actually Boomerang. Possible. But yeah, we have 3 song checks left. We know it can't be an ice cavern because Rudo's letter is path to Baronade. Unless it is in fact a bonus on unlocking the Boomerang and and it is a nice cavern because shenanigans, but that's less likely. Also, that lens is not what we wanted to see, game. That could be the path.
Yeah, that would be very, very funny. And I would like to see that, actually. I would like there to be nothing else up to and including the bomb chest.
And it's just the lens.
Just
At which point you
for
have
lens
to play...
giving access. No, we have Requiem, so that doesn't give us any more access to Desert Colossus. So it's,
and we're not doing Wasteland anytime fast at the moment either.
Chess minigame.
Yep. Her long shot is on 10 skulls or chickens. It's possible to FIL, but we don't know that. Cat gives Path to Morpha, which we are currently expecting it to be Requiem for ZL, but no guarantees. Our paths are a mess already. What's this? What's
Zelda's Lullaby, in fact, is a very strong contender for path item for indirect path item in Kakariko, because you can only do 2 checks in Water Temple without using Zelda's Lullaby.
Logically, at least. Practically more, depending on key layout.
Yep.
But yeah, that's... we'll have to see, because both our SFM's paths so far are Opponent's Song and Rudo's Letter. Rudo's Letter is probably... Rudo's Letter unlocks a bunch of stuff, so it could potentially lock a stone dungeon. If it does lock a stone dungeon, then it can't be the hinted path item, which then leaves us Opponent's, and that's a whole other thing. And we know we aren't getting the mini-vet check anytime fast, because that one is logically locked behind Saria's song, which we're not sure where that is.
Pause. So Majarkin ran past the bomb flower platform chest. I assume he had peeked that and had seen that it's nothing big, but that actually means our Lens of Truth is our path item.
Yep, because well, it doesn't... I was like, that could be something, but nah. Nope, that's... Thanks, game.
Yeah,
thanks.
No, also, it's bomb locked.
Also true. Well, it could still be the path that bombs are just someplace free, but, There's nothing that says this check has to lock a bomb bag. It has to lock something for Forest Temple, but it doesn't have to lock our bomb bag. We don't have a bow, we don't have... Or it could be that it's the Curious Word and Lens game for Saria's on Prelude, we don't know.
Majarkin going all the way to King Dodongo, only to then not be able to beat him, because that is 2 choose too few.
No, he's got Strength 1.
Oh, you're right. Then he can beat him. Never mind.
Yep. On the other side of it, Anglhz will not be able to do that, because he got his light arrows and understandably kept them.
Yep.
Especially because he was also into Path SFM. If Anglhz had done what Majarkin did and gone to SFM before considering the Lostwoods Bomb Grottos, I think he would have Steve Scummed Lights, because you can get those later and they're not useful right now for anything. But as it were, nope. Yeah, Longshot could be in Spirit, yes. There's various... Requiem has other potentials, but right now with ZL, it's not something we're currently worried about.
Right, let's see. Majarkin will beat King Dodongo, will be the first to finish a dungeon here. Anglhz will not. He will have the choice to open King Dodongo's, or the Dodongo head, and then don't have any bomb chews to actually do anything in there, or
he can't open the eyes. He saw that big chest on the bridge.
Yeah, or he can go to that big chest on the bridge, which is what I was about to say. Yeah, that's a pretty big disadvantage for Angles here. He will have to come back to Dodongo's Cavern later when he has bombs or more bomb chews.
Yep. Does get this jump on the third try and then falls off. Ouch. So, like, sorry for the comms curse, Angles, if you watch this back. And yeah, I'm somehow not surprised that it's there.
Hello, Butter Knife. Cool.
Did I mention our Saria song is or our minuet is probably on Prelude?
You did, and that's reasonable. So Dodongo's Cavern is path to Phantom Ganon, so Lens or Kokiri Sword are our possible path items.
The thing is, though, I think Majarkin is... Both runners know enough about this game. They should be able to deduce that it is a very good chance, with the hints they have, that it is just minuet on Prelude for Forest Access logic. So, do you go that, or do you just go Forest Temple? And I might honestly go Forest at this point.
Yeah, honestly, Forest is a required dungeon. I would do two things. I would make sure that when I next go Child, I route in a treasure chest minigame just to cover my bases and make sure it's not the Lens that's the path item. And otherwise, I would honestly just assume, just like you did, that it is for Minuet on Prelude, so Minuet as the song in Temple of Time, and not worry about it.
Yeah.
And,
Chad has a point. We're on Tunic. Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
See if I can find the items required to beat Forest Temple somewhere else, because as opposed to things like Kokiri Sword, which there's exactly one copy of and is hard required to get into Deku Tree, there are multiple copies of the bow, of the hookshot, and well, of bombs as well, but that doesn't factor into Forest Temple, and we already have a strength upgrade.
Yeah. I mean, yes, KLO for Deku is 7. Well, once you get to Deku, it's 7 quick checks, but we don't have Minuet for, this entire discussion. Deku's kinda slow to get to. Remember, a child spawns in Hyrule Castle Fairy. We're not... I don't know how appealing Deku is when it's that far a hike. Admittedly, we also don't have a lot of very good options, to be fair. I am genuinely a little surprised Majarkin did not go Forest there, getting Bomb and Hammerlock out of fire.
Yeah, I think he wants to cover, or he's playing rather defensively. Might want to just follow the logic here. Also in chat, someone said, for all we know, it's Kokiri Sword for Saria Song. No, that can't be it. Saria Song is on all dungeons. It's on Burning Kakariko.
I meant Kokiri Sword could be for Burning Cack access, though. Although given that given Shadow is one of our medallions for Burning Cack, the odds are lower just because of how high the item requirements are for it. But then again, we already know where Hover's magic and Nocturne are, so maybe.
Anyway, Majarkin is turning it to night straight away, so he is going to play treasure chest minigame. So if you want, get your guesses in chat.
Yeah, this makes a lot of sense. Yeah, this makes a lot of sense to be with the Lens potential path.
Yeah, definitely. You will want to cover that base. Just get that Lens out of the running, out of the mind game. Honestly.
Yeah. I mean, Killa had a point in chat as well, I think it was. Yeah, because Cat had a Goron tunic, something I forgot. That was Man on Earth. That could also be the path, so it's not entirely an illogical dip into fire with Bolero, just to see if you can't find your path item here, behind that tunic for Morpha. But really, our path hints right now are a convoluted and unintuitive mess at the moment.
Treasure chest game is 5 lefts, because after all, there is nothing alright with this seed.
Yeah, and that is a big chest. There's our first bomb bag. Okay.
Lens to bombs, that's certainly a thing.
That's not a chain you see every day.
Ooh.
That might be the path.
Actually, yeah.
That is also our logical river access for both the hover boots and the hookshot.
Where were the hover boots again?
Graveyard Crate.
Oh, yeah. Wait, why do we need river access for the hover boots then?
Beans.
You do have a point.
We don't have long shot for it after all.
Yeah, that's true. My brain just went long shot or boomerang, and yeah, boomerang is certainly a thing, but it is not in logic at all.
Not in these settings, no. It's a logical trick. We're also missing one path still, which is light, which is decent chances for King to Dog. Well, no, we have a King to Doggo path. What we're missing is what are we missing? We're missing a Twin River path. So what we're missing. Unfortunately, said Twin River path might just be river or market for that mirror shield on Richard. We'll see.
Depends on where the other strength upgrades are, honestly.
Yeah, we know Strength 1 is path to King Dodongo, for the lens for bombs, apparently. So Strength 2 has to be Strength 1 locked, so presumably bomb locked, which doesn't tell us much of anything. Let's get a copy of the Grave Hints.
Okay, so from Majarkin's point of view, he's pretty much in logic, but at this point, what's left for him to do? He's going to go and check out Hyrule Field, I guess.
Not a terrible
thing.
play, some reasonably quick checks. Routed to Deku Trees, the other thing he's doing here.
Mm-hmm.
Serenade into Southfield and then Deku would make a lot of sense with the few warp songs they have. Keck still path to Morpha. Angles knows that Majarkin has a decent execution and experience advantage on him, so playing to some less obvious plays potentially to try and gain an advantage, because these back Lincolns aren't ones you see very often. And he could potentially get some very important information here, as that's a scam for Majarkin.
Yep.
Pay some money, get 5 bucks back.
Yeah, give me 10 rupees, you get 5 rupees back, as well as another 3 that I drop when I disappear. Target in the woods is Deku Nut upgrade. So nothing useful as well.
Big chest says we get the other ranch KD hint.
Mm-hmm. And we find a wallet.
Wallet. That confirms score on Tunic is not path, and that's about all we get out of it. Great.
Yep. For those who might not know, you can buy a Goron Tunic in Goron City with a wallet for 200 rupees.
And that is in logic.
Yep.
For way here on path items, they can only be the hinted thing if it is the only copy available, assuming that there are multiple copies that are functionally identical. So, for instance, we cannot get a Path Magic this seed. Both are available. Neither is Path. Or is this Path to Baronade? That's new.
And indeed, and there's a second strength upgrade. Strength 2 locked by bombs. We knew that that all the strengths and bombs needed to be locked behind the strength we got in London Ranch. So
yeah, that makes sense. That confirms our bomb bank is bomb locked. That confirms that our strength 1 is path for lens for the bombs. That confirms the lens is path for bombs, and then that hammer has to be bomb locked as well, because otherwise you can just get the lens with that hammer. And to note, that was a second Baronade path. Amazingly, we're not getting a Twin Rova path, which is impressive.
Well, we have Requiem, we have Mirror Shield, and we have 2 strengths upgrades available, so yeah. And
there's got to be something in Pop of Spirit.
There's got to be a second strength upgrade, or a third strength upgrade somewhere available as well, because otherwise these 2 would have been pathed to get to Twin Rova.
No, I think because not even the Mirror Shield was hinted path, I think there has to be something behind the Mirror Shield that locks one of our stones.
Ew!
Because we know Requiem is currently our path to Morpha in Cac, which could be for earlier parts of Spirit, even Child Spirit, which isn't strength would lock at all. But Mirror Shield normally doesn't tend to end up being pathed. It would normally still be Path to Twin Rove in this case because it doesn't lock a lot. Besides, you know, those couple of checks in Spirit. So I'm going to guess they've got something at the top of Spirit, probably our long shot at this point, is my guess.
Interesting. Yeah, good point.
Because otherwise, even if because it couldn't just be, you know, Boomerang on, like, Spirit Statue Hand or something for Strength 2 and, for Requiem Path, or even just a Strength, or even Boomerang and Child Spirit or something. Mirror Shield would have still been hinted Path, it was something earlier in Spirit. Mirror Shield only locks Spirit Temple.
That's
really.
The second Forest to Baronade copy. Interesting, yeah, you're right. So,
Longshot can't be unlaxed, that is
lock.
the Gens Castle boss key. There has to be something.
Has to lock something in our stone dungeons. Cool.
So it's either Twin Rova, Foremost Chest, or Twin Rova, Foremost Chest, or the topmost Spirit Chest. All of which are locked behind basically everything you need to beat Spirit. Which is why nothing you need to beat Spirit is hinted Path. You need it all for a step.
You gotta love it.
Which is likely either Longshot or Boomerang, given or Iron Boots is probably the other thing.
So here's the problem now.
Actually, no, not Boomerang. Spirit Shot was also Medallion. Yeah, Irons or Longshot are probably at the top of Spirit.
So here's the problem at this point. The advantages for Majarkin are just starting to stack up. He now has bombs, which anglhz still lacks. And with these bombs, he was able to find Strength 2 with, and I don't know if he had the time or the wherewithal, honestly, to make the same assumptions or to make the same calculations about logic that we just had the time to. Because remember, and that's why I'm saying the wherewithal. He has to play a video game. We are just sitting in the comms booth and having a good time. So.
This quirk about nested paths is very, very nuanced and can get a little confusing at times.
Just a little. Anyway, there's a big chest in Deku Tree. So Deku Tree or Kokiri Sword in the Dodongo's Cavern might also be is still a contender for being the path item to Phantom Ganon. So let's see.
Yep. Because nope, the regular bottle, which is not required whatsoever since we have letter. To note, yes, path hints only point to one item. When the path is generated, the game, you know, tries to, for these settings at least, the game tries to pick one path for every dungeon, with the caveat that if a item locks the Rainbow Bridge, it can't be hinted on the path to the Gens Castle boss key, such as what we were discussing with Spirit. It tries to give one for each, which is why we know that something at the very top of Spirit has to lock DC, because otherwise the game would have tried to give us a Spirit path before it gave us a secondary path.
Yep.
Mirror Date happens to also be a medallion, but which is interesting as well in its own sense. Like, where is our? Apparently, there's just nothing in Ice Cavern logically locking our stones, and I guess Ranks in Forest probably would be my guess at this point.
Let's see.
But the fact that we got 2 Baronade paths before we got any Twin Rova paths is really, really weird.
So, Toffal asking in chat what happened to anglhz. Anglhz, honestly, seems to have forgotten the mechanic of how Sunsong works. Because he's been waiting for Time of Day for the second time now.
He also doesn't have a magic meter anymore. How much does he lose in that reset?
Oh. Oh dear. That might be...
Chad knows that he was back down to 1 skull when he reached the Hyrule Castle Tree Skull. And that's 2. I think he did... did he just not save at all the past 45 minutes?
He might have just basically... save quit without...
the save.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, without doing the save part of the quit, of the save quit thing.
Oh no!
Oh
I
dear.
think he's just lost everything he did in the past 45 minutes
Basically
because that
lost
was.
the entirety of his progress, yeah.
Well, I think he kept like his first 5 or 10 minutes of adult one, but he's lost everything since. Ugh, that's a
Oh
feels
no.
bad. Yeah, because I know he killed the Harrow Castle, the guardhouse skull, and the tree skull. Yes, tell Miran he quit. He did a save quit without saving. And has apparently lost about 30 to 35 minutes of progress. He kept his adult one, I know that, but that was only like maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes tops. He's lost everything since, a good half hour plus. And that includes the stuff he did in Dongma's Cavern, which is why he can't get that lens for the bombs and is failing chickens to try and re-pick up the string. Oh, this is a feels bad.
Oh no. Oh my
Just
god,
barely
he
managed to
did
get the
not
chicken
fail
out.
chickens. He did get that chickens, but oh dear, yeah.
Ooh, that's a huge feels bad. He was already a bit behind, but
yeah, that's
unfortunately this happens sometimes. We did see a similar reset without saving earlier today in the other race. That one wasn't
indeed.
quite as painful though. That one didn't
First of all,
lose that
that.
runner 30.
Second of all, that runner still in the end won. So,
We might need to untrack the items that Angles picked up during that child cycle. I think our runner there, our tracker has, because that's a feels bad.
all right, let's move past that though. Let's see new checks that Majarkin's giving us here. Checking out after being done with Deku Tree, that he just had beat Goma. He is now having a rather thorough look through Childborn City.
Yep. Childborn City makes sense here. It's clearable. You don't have Saria Song for Darunia. We also know you're not getting Saria Song anytime soon, so it doesn't feel too bad to leave it behind.
Saria Song is
you
an
can-
all dungeons item. You're not checking that anytime soon. So yeah, just don't worry about it.
Nope. So just leave that alone, and this is just round it in with the area. You're not coming back here fast without Minuet, because we know that's someplace not fun. And this makes sense. But yeah, I do believe that Minuet should most likely be on Prelude. The odds of it being a nice cavern are pretty low, given that our Rudo's Letter has a very high chance of being one of our Baronade paths. Forest Medallion is probably logically required because it locks both the Prelude song check and the Burning Cack song check. The Prelude song check is probably probably Minuet, and we know Burning Cack is Saria's song, and you need one of those two to get access to Forest Temple. So get a slingshot here on the Goron pot. Logically required to beat Deku, much help otherwise.
Yeah. Do we care? No.
Minuet could be Vanilla KLO, but odds of it aren't stellar. Know that because both Forest and DC are stones, and it's fine that we have overlapping paths between those dungeons, and with water, with the way it's convoluted things going. Yeah. We're definitely doing Child Spirit with that slingshot, good point, because we know, and Majarkin might have figured out, that we should have a path. We need to do Spirit Temple early. We need to do Spirit Temple no matter what, because it's Shadow Mad, but we need to do it early, apparently, because, fairly sure there's something...
We have all the items for it.
Yeah, we do, actually. Well, other than the fire source, but we can probably climb this child.
Yeah, fire source, yes, but I mean, worst case, there is the opportunity to do a little trickery with the bow here and get that
Assuming
firebox
we
checks.
find the bow is the other problem.
You have a point. Anyway, time for Majarkin to do Spirit Tip.
Yep. Colossus Fairy first, might as well. Yeah, I expect we will likely see probably Iron Boots or something at the top of Spirit. irons or long shot, depending on key layouts for why no twin robot paths exist, apparently. And then Forest Temple, I think, probably has her boomerang. For path to Baronate, that can't be path to a stone, is likely boomerang. Since we know where Rudo's letter is, and...
It has to be boomerang, yeah. Alright, and
fire arrows.
speaking of
fire sources, one we can't use!
Yet.
Yeah, there's likely a small key on child side. That's what I'm thinking. It would because Requiem is path to ZL, right? Is path we have access to ZL without Requiem now between Lens, Hookshot, Eponas, and our known hovers. So yeah, decent chance Child Spirit's got something for that CAC path to Morva for Requiem, which would make sense, really. Yeah, Requiem for Child Spirit for Longshot or Irons at the top, which, yeah. Which is why no twin robot paths exist, which is one of the strangest things I've seen. Like, it's very, very common to not get Dodongo's Cavern paths with DC as a Shadow or Spirit medallion, just because bombs lock so much stuff. The odds of bombs not locking any stone is incredibly low.
Yeah, but not getting a twin rover path where the items required to be twin rover are 2 strengths, a mirror shield, and a hook shot. Yeah, that's very incredibly rare.
Yeah, like usually, usually you get at minimum a mirror shield path because mirror shield locks so little besides being spirit.
Yep. Go first small key on child side.
As expected.
That was not expected, and that was also not intended by Majarkin here.
Angles, we can pick that letter back up.
Yeah. Majarkin forgot an important step there, namely stun the Stelphos so that you actually have time to get yourself into that little corner. 2 small keys, child side, by the way.
That certainly explains the Requiem path.
Yep.
I'm editing our notes for the hint command. So path now says Requiem for Spirit keys.
Makes sense.
Not gonna write into... Well, once we eventually see what the top of Spirit item is, I'll go put that in. But right now, I'm not writing the entirety of path hint logic into a hint command, because that's more than... It's gonna be that's not gonna be legible.
Good choice. Yeah.
It could technically be for a Zora tunic as well, but I just thought, but anyway.
Majarkin's still thinking about Skulltulas. 10 Skulltulas could obviously still be an important item. And he doesn't want to miss that. So collect Skulltulas along the way.
Yeah, you're not gonna rush out of your way for skulls when 20 and 30 are dead, but heck is Path to Morpha. We only have that Requiem for Spirit keys right now, and we don't know if Majarkin's pieced together that something at the top of Spirit basically has a Lock of Stone dungeon. Probably the Water Temple. It could be at the bow at the top of Spirit KLO, but the odds of that are kind of slim. For a multitude of reasons, including Spirit Key logic. Though we also know apparently our forest access might be a little silly, so it's hard to say. Seeds being a bit complicated.
This is certainly a seed of all time.
Yep. There's a big key,
a
boss key, not big key, wrong game,
key.
brain.
A 3rd small key in Child Climb. These 2 chests are adult accessible as compared to the ones, the first 2 that Majarkin opened here.
Yep, these 2 are available with 1 key and ranged weapons for both ages, basically, is the logic there. And we have 1 key and ranged weapons for both ages. AKA Slingshot and Hookshot here.
Yep. But obviously, with Spirit having a total of 5 keys, and 3 keys being in early Child Climb or Child Side, it becomes less and less likely that there's actually a small key still available on early adult side. So it is very good that Majarkin ended up going to Child Spirit here. He would probably have been disappointed if he had just gone Adult.
Yeah. Oh, good. Angel's just got a 10-pack of Choose from the Cac Read and Grotto, which is good for him because he lost his lens in that reset. We know he's not getting that back for a bit, so he's not getting that bomb back anytime fast. So that helps as he does chickens here. He is decidedly behind, unfortunately, because of said reset, but I'm still really curious to see what he can get here.
Yeah,
interesting,
I mean,
hopefully, at least.
Showing us new checks. He's still in the game. As I said, the other runner today who had this unfortunate mishap of forgetting the safe part of saving and quitting, in the end won his race. So, yeah, not all hope is lost. That's for sure.
I will say also, I liked Angles' tunic color there. A nice blue.
Yeah, it's lovely.
That is an option in the randomizer. It does not affect the actual placement of items. You can do custom cosmetics. And just RP sadly off chickens. And yep, that's Spirit for Majarkin, which makes a lot of sense. I'd be surprised he was going anywhere else at this point in the scene. It's progression, it's beatable. He may have figured out the path conundrum. I'm not surprised at that vignette. It's new.
Yep, that's also unsurprising. So that is our logical access to Sacred Forest Meadow and the Forest Temple as adult.
Yep. So yeah, that is Kokiri Sword confirmed path as well. DC double path to Path of Ganon for Lens and Kokiri Sword. Wahoo.
Yay!
Well, not Garen. Well, the bombs may not hurt the forest to strength sound bad, but then, well, no bomb to Kokiri Sword on KD is hard bomb block, so yeah.
Yeah. It's all part of one chain, actually.
Yep. We do know, like, as mentioned earlier, there's only specifically for one path that is hinted. There is not guaranteed to be more than one item in an area that is hinted path. But if there are two or more, then the odds of it being hinted are higher. So it's never a bad idea to flow clear your way into heroes, as the joke goes, or flow clear your paths nowadays. And, maybe not necessarily go out of your way for them, but keep in mind there might be another thing there.
Keep in mind it exists, is basically the advice. And it is never a bad idea when you run out of things to do, for example, if you run out of progression to do, to just think back, did I full clear my way of the heroes, or is there anything else that I might have missed there?
Yep.
Alright, Majarkin going Adult Spirit now, and as I said earlier, did not find a key on Adult side.
No surprise. Yeah, Minya isn't necessarily the logical path to do SFM, just going to be the easier one since case we're locked with Forest Temple access songs. Yep. Although I will say though, if Din's at the top of Spirit, that's the comedy option for this path.
Din's on top of Star? What do you mean?
For Shadow Temple something, we've got Nocturne Magic covers and Hookshot.
You are right, that would be the comedy option. Good grief.
Speaking of things, here's Hookshot for Angles. And Happy 1 hour, everyone, just a slight bit late. Let's see, no... Yeah, go ahead.
Let's have a quick look at who's making this restream possible. Shoutouts to our runners, obviously. Thanks to Majarkin and Angles for allowing us to restream their race. Thank you also to our amazing tracking team, Worm and Worn Traveler. And thanks to Star for being the admin of this tournament, or one of the admins of this tournament, being on co-commentary with me today, and generally being awesome.
Yeah, and thank you to you as well, Tobias. Look forward to seeing you in a few days. And everyone else too who's going.
Same here.
This room can be a little finicky without hovers sometimes. There we go. We're missing one small key, which will either be invisible chests left hand or forearmos. Let's see forearmos first here. We did not have any firelock keys for whatever that's worth. Here's a big chest. That would make sense for this. This could be the thing that we need.
This is a mirror locked item, and it is bow. Yep, that's the answer.
That would explain why we have no spirit paths. That's also a fairly stupid spot for first bow.
That is very silly, actually, yeah.
Well,
Wait,
I told you my
how is a
piece
bow
of it.
path to Morpha?
Could be, let's see, could be Tortoise if Dins is unavailable, could be the bow chest. Could be Longshot or Irons in Forest Temple.
Oh yeah, or just bow target chest in Water Temple as the boss key.
Yeah. We need it for Torch's top file specifically if Dins is unavailable. We need it for Forest, but the thing is, it is Requiem is path to Morpha, not path to... Requiem's path to Morpha, not path to Phantom Cannon. It was still possible that the first bow could have been, I don't know, at a lake or something. But if that is the bow, that is why... If the bow is there and is the path to a stone dungeon that has turned into we have no Twin Rova paths, as well as being the reason why Requiem is path to Morpha, that would have to be bow locking Morpha somehow. And oh yes, we did just get a chicken's hidden domain for Angles.
Yeah, I am going to say this. In the Monty Python sketch, this is the part where the door opens, someone walks in and says that this is exceedingly silly and we should be doing something else.
This has been fairly silly, as logic goes today. We do still have 2 mirror lock checks, as well as whatever this is.
Hello, big chest. This is not, in fact, mirror locked.
It is, however, a wallet, which could also be why Requiem's path to Morpha, because Central Pillar exists.
Oh.
Central Pillar. We don't have a Zora reading.
Ew.
It isn't the reason why we don't have any spirit paths. It is potentially why Requiem's path to Morpha, though the two are likely the same thing anyway. Ooh, big chest for Angles could be good for him, because I don't know when Majarkin's getting here.
Not for a while. He'll be chewing on that,
He's going to be chewing on that after this.
He'll be chewing on the question of why is my bow path to Morpha for a while, or is it the wallet for Central Pillar access? While he does Forest Temple. Oh, hi, another bomb bag. That's Sphere Zero.
Not Sphere Zero. That means that means our skills have to be bomb locked.
Yes.
Because otherwise our strength can't be path to KD for lens for bombs.
Yes. I was thinking of, okay, but ZL is accessible, but no, ZL alone doesn't help us.
Yeah, we need river access.
Yeah. There are so many things locked behind bombs, and this is one of those times where Majarkin is going to be really happy that he got double defense early, because Iron Knuckles hit like a freight train.
They do. 4 hearts with no double defense, and then it's 2 with.
Yep.
All right, Twin Rova time.
Let's see if these 2 ladies are going to earn their nickname Troll Rova today.
Usually they do.
Not the first time.
You might have just jinxed him.
Yeah, we'll see. Anyway, those who might not be as familiar with Ocarina of Time might be wondering why Majarkin is repeatedly firing his hookshot at Koumi or Kotake here. The answer is it locks them in a dodge animation, and thus makes them unable to move.
Yep, so it's easier to nail them.
Yeah, easier to hit them with the frost or fire beam that the other witch shoots. So when you have them in an opportune location, and the other witch and one of the witches starts shooting, you just spam hookshot at them to make sure that they can't move, like Majarkin is doing right now.
Yep.
And so she stays in your target area, basically.
Did unfortunately miss one shot, so definitely living up to her nickname.
Yeah.
Sometimes, despite your best efforts, it just doesn't quite line up. That is phase 1 down. Phase 2 shouldn't be too terrible. Majarkin shouldn't have an issue. No BGS, we're never getting that. It's in Fire Temple Pier chest.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't much care.
So, Majarkin also shot the hook shot at Koumi and Kotake after they had been hit 3 times. That precludes them from activating a bug that sometimes happens in the game code where they do another round randomly, even though they've already been hit 3 times before they fuse into their final form.
Yeah, OT is about a good video game.
It's an amazingly coded video game. We have to remember that this is. We have to remember that this was released in 1998, and it is in total. I think it had to cope with something like 8 or 16 megabytes of RAM, and doing a 3D video game in this amount of overall available system memory, not easy. Anyway, that's Trindrova down. As you predicted, Majarkin didn't have any problems with that. Let's see, nothing useful on the heart piece or on the heart container from Trindrova, and Spirit Temple done for Majarkin. He's gonna just do Forest Temple next.
Yeah, no reason not to. Got everything for it, its path. If Boomerang is in Forest, which there's a pretty good chance it is, then we're just down to a long shot irons for Go mode, and where those are is, good question, honestly.
We shall see. But first of all, here's Song of Time.
Not super helpful.
That means Song of Storms is in the Ice Cavern.
Yep. And Song of Storms not likely to be required today, given our collection of paths. Because if Rudo's Letter is the path to Baronade and SFM, which I think it just about has to be, honestly. With Forest path to Baronade, I don't really think opponents can lock anything for Jabu at this point. Unless there's some really stupid placements going on. I don't think Aponos can be path to Baron can be the path in SFM to Baronade unless something really stupid's going on.
Yeah.
And if Rudo's Letter is the path to Baronade in SFM, Song of Storms cannot lock Water Temple because it's behind Rudo's Letter.
So the only way Eponas can be path to Baronade here really would be if there is an item in here that would enable us to get more checks in Gerudo Training Ground. Is there such an item? No, there is not.
Iron Boots is about the one.
That's true.
Irons in Forest, plus Eponas and Song of Time from SFM to go to GTG for a Boomerang in the toilet would make sense, but unless it's or I guess Dinsmore Boomerang is also like something like that level of silly. Never mind that. The Boomerang in the toilet has just been disproven. Sunken Silver Rupees is just a pack of Deku nuts. Yeah, so it is probably Rudo's Letter. Epona's Song and Song of Time would take some really, really silly pains at this point for it to be that.
Yep.
So I've updated the hint command now, which means that Song of Storms should probably not be locking Longshot items. I do hope Majarkin realizes this, because otherwise he's going to be sinking a lot of time if he chooses to rush Storms for density. Could be a river chest in water would explain the bow. I guess, yeah, it could be Song of Time for river chest in water. It's just the odds are kind of low of that. Like, it's weird, still, at this point. I want to see what our path is in Forest Baronade first as well, before we make any more conclusions on what our SFM path might be, because that is kind of dependent on whether or not it's just plain old boomerang here.
Yep, and if it's plain old boomerang, then all that means is that our runners have zero guidance as to where they find their long shot or their iron boots, basically.
Well, not zero guidance. It can't be ladder locked, and thus not storms locked. But beyond that, it could be basically anywhere else in the game.
And at that point, you play by density. What does density mean? GGG.
Yep. So far, nothing in Forest, though. Just a bunch of keys, which is pretty common.
Yep. Especially early on in Forest, with how many keys you need to even get into the pole loop, it's quite often that you just see a bunch of keys early on in the courtyard checks, and interesting items might be happening later on when we beat Joelle, Beth, Amy, and Meg, or maybe even in the basement right before Phantom Cannon.
Yes, Kale. Hovers are in the graveyard crate, which is relevant to not much of anything at the moment. It's just one less item we could find in Forest Temples. Back in DC for Angles, unfortunately, he didn't. That reset he did that cost him 40 minutes, included all of DC, so he's going to be redoing that now. Has enough to choose to beat it this time, at least.
Yep.
Yeah, Requiem can't be path for ZL access, I guess Kalo is the one thing, but we know Requiem is path for Spirit Keys for what's apparently either the bow or the wallet in top of Spirit there.
More likely the bow, because the bow is mirror shield locked, whereas the wallet is not.
Yeah, and there's nothing on Twin Rova, so it has to be the bow that is tying us up in terms of paths.
For context, why are we... Yeah, it has to be. Why are we talking about... or why are we so flabbergasted as to why is there no path for Twin Rova? The game prefers, or rather the randomizer prefers to give one hint per dungeon before
if possible.
It repeats. Yeah, if possible, before it repeats before it gives 2 path hints for a single dungeon. So if at all possible, it'll give you a path to Nrova before giving you 2 paths to Baronade. The fact that that isn't possible means that there's shenanigans going on.
In this case, that apparently everything that's on the path to Twin Rova, which being a medallion, is also on the path to a stone. So, that bow on the Spirit 4 Avo's chest, which is locked behind everything you need to beat Spirit Temple,
yep,
qualifies.
There goes your path to Twin Rova. That's all there is to it. Alright, using Ferora's Wind here to be able to quickly return to the hallway in its twisted state.
Do these games last longer than LTTP? Yes, it's a bigger game in 3D. Yeah, it's also 3D, which in and of itself adds complexity. Generally, these run between 2 to 2.5 hours for runners of top level runners. Majarkin's quite skilled, made it to semis of the online tournament. So yeah, 2 to 2.5 hours is probably the usual for him. Could be sub 2 hours in the hour 45 to 2 hour range if it's particularly fast. I think in theory these could be like an hour 30 with text take some truly silly item placements. And if it goes past 3 hours, something's gone seriously wrong. I'm less certain of Angles' skill level, so I'm not as certain what his times would be, but I think they're a little slower based on what we've seen today. Oh yeah, we don't have an OT hit for this OT song. OT Boomerang would be funny, actually.
That would be silly.
But with I guess. But no, then what's Path of Baronade and Forest Temple? Because remember, whatever the path here is, it can't be Longshot or Iron Boots.
And it can't be just a stone.
Nope. And it can't just be Stone for Gen's Castle Axes or something there. Because we know where Roto's ladder is, we know where ZL is. We're like, there has to be something in here that locks the group. We're just not sure what that is. Yeah, Kalo, basically every main series Zelda game has gotten a randomizer that can be randomized at this point. I think aside from, I've heard that Phantom Hourglass randos in the works, and then I'd assume Spirit Tracks comes after that, but I have no idea what the status on that is. Apparently they had some anti-piracy protection issues or something, I guess. But just
Phantom
about everything else is
and
done.
Spirit Tracks. Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks have a very similar engine, right?
Yeah, they do. So I think if they could figure out the anti-piracy protection issues with PH Rando, I think STR would be soon after, I'd have to guess. But I have no clue what the status on that is. That information is a couple of years old, so don't take my word on it.
To be clear, though, we are not advocating game piracy here. We expect everyone who uses the randomizers to have a legitimate copy of these games.
Yes, but just about every other main series Zelda game, not including the CDI games, not including things like Hyrule Warriors, which I don't, can be randomized, has been randomized. I don't know if Triforce Heroes has gotten one. I know the Force Words games haven't gotten one. I'm not sure if they can be randomized in practical capacity. And then Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are their own thing. So. But basically, everything else has gotten random, including a Link Between Worlds rando as well. We've got Link's Awakening Switch has a randomizer. Even OOT 3D has a rando, though Majora's Mask 3D does not. Last I checked, we even now have an Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask combo randomizer. That's relatively new.
Yeah, exactly. So if you were feeling under challenged by beating just one of the two games randomized, you can now beat Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask at the same time in a combined randomizer where you can find items from both games in both games, and you can just play songs from both games to warp between them.
When is OOT DK64 combo rando? Whenever someone decides to code one. Because these are all volunteer projects. In order for one to exist, someone has to be willing to code it, and yeah. And yes, in case you're wondering how we're going off topic, Forest is a very long linear dungeon with not a lot going on. We haven't seen anything that's path in here, by the way, which is kind of surprising, actually, given we have a path for this place.
First dungeon beat for Angles, the Dongos Cavern beat, and the Goron Ruby obtained, as well as the Kokiri Sword, which will enable him to find his bomb bag shortly.
Yep.
Sorry, the bomb bag is behind Lens. I meant, obviously, his mini-met, and thus his Forest Temple access.
Yep. Not hard required Kokiri Sword, but logically required. Or, well, it should be just logically required unless something silly's gone wrong, as here's our big chest. Is this finally our path item in here?
That has to be a path item at this point. That's Hammer.
Why is that a Hammer game?
Can we not? I think we can. I think we just not and pretend we did.
That is, by the way, very bomb locked, because that's bow locked and our bow is bomb locked at the top of Spirit. But that's not the path item you wanted, game.
No, that's exactly what we didn't need. Cool. Don't like. I refuse to put that down on the sheet. You already have, but we're just gonna assume that there's two more items checks that could be it. There's the basement item, and then there's Phantom Ganon's heart container.
Yes, it is not guaranteed, but I am concerned.
Yes, I am too.
Key in the center of GTG, key in Twilight, key in Hammer Chest, SFM triple path. That would be funny, except for Longshot, it shouldn't be hammer locked, if that's the path.
And key in Toilet isn't a thing because, I'm sorry, but that has already been hinted as just some Deku Nuts.
Yeah, could be on right side GTG. There could be a key right side GTG behind Selling of Time, but we're digressing.
True.
Yeah. Let's finish Forest before we go delve back into our collection of path maps, because that's the topic of the day. What are these paths?
Yeah. This is one of those cases where you're really just wondering, what is that doing here, and why?
Yeah, like, Majarkin, we can't see his face, because it's currently pointed towards the chair with the dogs, who are not presently... oh hey, Big Goron has a slingshot. Great, we didn't really care. Forgot we hadn't gotten that hit yet.
Yeah, sure.
Whichever, I guess. Nah. So I can talk about Wild VC Purple, though, I guess. But yeah, we've already dipped fire, and you know you're immediately Hammerlock is a very good place to take that hammer. Oh, absolutely, I expect Majarkin to go fire after this looking for that boomerang.
Oh, absolutely.
That said, if I were him, and assuming he's actually kept track of if he knows about the layered path thing, which I think he does, but it might be hard to think of mid-race, as mentioned previously. If he does, if you find boomerang like in early fire, I would bail immediately, because you know longshot irons can't be there, and that's your go mode at that point.
Oh boy. Oh, there's a big chest.
Big chest?
Doesn't need to be the hammer. Copium.
Strength 3! That's not what we wanted either, Gabe.
It's easy to check though, so I would assume that Majarkin checks that before he goes into Fire Temple.
I have to assume so. With Prelude and Bolero, they're not exactly hard to get back to for either, but that's not what you wanted, Gabe!
It's not hinted dead though, so...
It's not, that is true. I would absolutely go check it, but that's also not a boomerang.
Yeah, but
yeah, Strength 1 lock, Strength 2 lock, Strength 3.
Yep.
It's funny, despite there being 3 bomb bags and 3 bows, we have a path of eat.
Game has a sense of humor.
Yes, it does, apparently.
So that Strength 3 could be a path item. I mean, I'm gonna stick it on there for now. But that's a choice that really... It's a bit of a copium choice.
You absolutely check it before fire, just in case it's there and you fire is a waste of time, but yeah.
You also keep that in mind in the back of your head, just if you find nothing else, because that means there's going to be a boomerang in Light Trial.
Also possible, yeah. Boomerang and Light Trial would certainly make absolutely certain that the path item to... Yeah, never mind, that boomerang couldn't have... yeah, Strength 3 can't lead to a stone dungeon because, well, Light Trial is behind the stones. Container, yeah.
Oh. Jabu is a medallion dungeon, though.
Yeah. Alright, let's go see what OGC is. I'm assuming that's where Majarkin's going.
I would be shocked if he weren't.
Let me check. No? I was gonna say. Hello? No, Bolero.
He's going straight fire. Interesting choice. Okay.
That is an interesting choice. Just going to play straight for that hammer. I will check OGC first, just in case fire's a time sink. Or he's not even doing that. Where is he going? I'm a little
thinking
confused.
about Crater Fairy. No, he has remembered that Crater is foolish.
Yeah, there's also a couple awkward hammer checks in the overworld that would suck. That one of them is foolish on DMC Fairy and Valley Hammerrocks is not something you want to go for right now.
Is he thinking about Goron City? Yeah, he's doing Adult Goron City.
He's going for the Metagoron hand? I don't know what he's doing.
He's just doing the entirety of Adult Goron City at this point.
Oh yeah, we haven't seen the maze because Bob were in a slightly silly spot.
No, yeah.
That. There's a very real chance Long Shutter Irons are in the Goron City maze. Boomerang shouldn't be there, but Long Shutter Irons can.
Yep.
Oh, I realized we got the domain foolish and then I completely forgot about it. So it's like foolish. Boomerang was Bombag being in foolish domain confirms that domain
Oh
was
gosh.
Tom Lock. What now?
Yeah, no, a Bombek in Foolish Domain. I hadn't tweaked onto that. Yeah, that's terrible.
I'd honestly forgotten all about our foolish hints because they haven't been exceptionally relevant today. Whoops.
Majarkin? Plan?
BMT wall? I don't think there's anywhere else he's going here with this route. Or no? Where is he going? How many skulls is Majarkin at?
I think he's at 9.
I think he's getting this skull and turning in 10 is what he's doing with this route. I'm a little confused, but okay.
He just wants... okay, he's at 10 skulls. He just wants that out of his mind.
Also fair. Before committing to a dig of fire.
Honestly, if I had been in Goron City at this point, I would have checked the maze, though.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, he is mopping up a little bit here.
Oh yeah, true. Also clearing the Cactomorpha path makes sense, right? Whoops. Which we know at this point has... Yeah. Oh, Majarkin peeked the... Oh, thank you, Majarkin did peek the maze earlier. I forgot about that. As Ingalls has now seen the Forest to Baronade path, it is like, okay, game.
And seems to be rather confused by it, which I can understand. It took us a moment to puzzle it out.
Yeah, especially because he still doesn't have a bow or logical forest access, and he's probably wondering what's going on there. So that strength 2 he's probably happy to see.
Nothing useful on 10 skulls?
No. I mean, we're pretty sure it's bow for shenanigans at this rate, but...
This is another one of those checks that you easily forget. Adult shooting gallery.
Absolutely. If this is this is Long Cheddar Irons, it also just confirms Requiem because our apparently only available bow is on that.
Or it could be another bow just to, troll us completely.
No, we know that bow has to be our path one because that's why our mirror shield isn't path.
Yeah, this is a Bollock bow though.
Yeah, this specifically could have been a bow, correct? Yes, but no, it was not in this case. Just a heart container. In general, though, we know that bow has to lock Morpha somehow, probably just by way of keys, honestly. But it has to lock Morpha because otherwise, something broke.
Yep. Now he's getting his Nocturne.
Might as well, I guess.
Yep. Seems to have committed to a bit of a cleanup round here before going deeper or going up on more paths.
This might be an indication that Majarkin is thinking about the layered path hints and considering that whatever that was in Forest cannot be the thing that locks his longshot irons, and is doing stuff that is explicitly not behind Forest Temple for it, but I'm not sure. It is possible also that, the longshot irons are fire, and then strength 3 is path to Baronade. For OGC or Light Trial, it could be a split between the two as well, but we don't know because we haven't seen any of those checks yet. Gonna check the hint at Graveyard, I'd assume, here.
Yep. Not getting any new information from that.
Nope, we've already seen it. It's just a big old hint for the slingshot.
Again, if you follow your hints, or if you follow your Forest Path to Baronade hint, you know that either a hammer or your 3rd strength upgrade is going to be what will get you that boomerang. So I would assume Majarkin to be not too far off of following up on one of these.
I'm a little confused why he's walking out of CAC right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the plan is, but we'll find out.
Well, he's not routing towards Ice Cavern, at least that's good. I was mildly concerned he might try that, but that would be a bad idea given that,
Is he doing
it's not locked
Northfield?
behind Forest Temple and it can't be... Yeah, he's doing Northfield. I'm not sure if this would have been faster than just Prelude, but... Big Pose True would have been a thing declared behind the bow.
Sacred Forest Meadow to Baronade. Yes, we knew that one.
Yep, that's where Rudo's led her as far as we can all figure, so not new.
And gets a bottle out, so Big Pose is also on the middle.
Yep. We did not see an HBA duel hint. We got all three duels really early. We know BGS is in the Fire Pierre chest, Nocturnal's in Composer Grave, and the Valley Child checks are dead. Yeah, where are duels? I would not be surprised if this looks like a pro or something on Big Pose.
Or the bow being on the path to something here, or being an item that locks something, either Iron Boots or a long shot is certainly very possible.
It doesn't. Bow doesn't have to lock Morpha to be. Well, here's the thing. Bow doesn't have to be path to Morpha. It could be that it ate the Twin River paths because that's your access to Beating Forest. And then it's Requiem for Spirit Keys for the Wallet, which is a separate path because silly goofs. Bias
Now
technically.
it's time for OGC.
Yeah, finally. But remember, Tobias, too, that we know that the bow has to lock a stone because else he would have gotten a Twin River path or something or another. But it could be the bow was just for forest, and then bow doesn't technically
true.
lock Water Temple at all, because it could have been that Requiem was path for Spirit Keys because the wallet's at the top of Spirit in the Serious Boss Key chest.
Yeah,
Which is Requiem
I'm not saying
lock,
it's. I'm not
but it's
saying
just-
that bow has to be locking anything. It's just plausible.
It's likely, yes. KLO, we don't have a support tunic. And we don't have a central cover. That's why.
Alright, let's see what this fairy fountain has for us.
No.
Not it!
So it's either Fire Temple or OGC, and I'm confused why Majarkin's playing Requiem.
He is reversing and going to Gerudo Training Ground.
This is a play?
Let's put it in our notes section for the interview later, so we can ask what he's been thinking about, what he's currently, what his thinking is that leads to this decision. Because, for sure, he's not doing that, you know, just because Gerudo Training Ground is a dense location. He's following up on an idea that he had.
Yeah, it is good density. I would have just gone and chased that hammer first. There was one check locked behind hammer in GTG, but I'm not sure I'd go rush that of all things on that hammer. But yeah, I made a note of that on our sheet for later, because this is an interesting play. It absolutely could pay out. We know that Longshot Irons... If it is hammer that's path to Baronade, Longshot Irons can't be behind it. Which would make this a more valuable play. So, so if he is considering that, that might be part of why he's going here. But it certainly is interesting choices. That is true that he's following the bow path, which does also make sense.
And is rewarded? Question mark?
No.
But we do have an emotional support fish.
Huh.
Look at it. It's an emotional support fish.
That is a very cute emote.
It's cheering you on and everything.
Yeah, it's true. There's no point rushing Fire Temple into the hammer unless the boomerang. You just keep in the back of the head for later. Yeah, it's true. It is, if that is what Majarkin's chain of thought is, that is good. If he is thinking about it, so that he knows to keep track of it, because it is something that is easily missable. Because patterns get kind of convoluted. But I'm really curious to see what he finds here in the GTG area, because this is the dentist play available. As Goma stand for ankles. Zev, Hammer could lock Iron's long shot, but then that would mean that Strength 3 has to lock our Boomerang, which basically puts Boomerang in light trial. Hammer and Strength 3 were both bow locked in Forest. Zev, the important thing to remember with Zev with Hammer locking Iron's long shot is that Jabu's a medallion. Water is a stone. If Hammer locks Iron's long shot, it cannot be the hinted item to Barricade in Forest Temple, otherwise we wouldn't have gotten that as a path. It is free Scarecrow. Cack Path, Zeph is Requiem for Spirit Keys, is what we've got for it. Which got us both our only available bow and a second wallet, which is, and Majarkin seems to be chasing that bow right now. I swear if it's just for the wallet, that would be just plain Scrooge seed, but that would be unlikely, although, well, there's been a lot of weird things with this one.
Oh, pardon me.
You're fine. Angles is going into here before Adult Spirit, interestingly. I don't think... Oh dear. I don't think Angles has the slingshot from the Goron pod, if I'm thinking of things correctly. Because I'm not sure that Angles has done Child. I don't think Angles did Child Spirit at any point in this whole thing. And, which might be why he's not going into Adult Spirit right now, which I would have gone as a full clearable dungeon otherwise before going here into with that Forest Without a Bow. Yeah, we knew Song of Time was the when you that song. Shield? And Heartless. The photo song thoroughly not required for that.
Yep, so still hard following up on that bow hint.
Very much so. Which actually, I'd honestly kind of forgotten about it. But that makes sense to rush this before the forest path. Assuming there's a big chest on the roof, I didn't actually manage to catch the peak.
I didn't quite catch it either, but it has to be. Oh, he didn't see it yet? No, there's a big chest. Hello, Pierre, the Scarecrow. It's a little teeny tiny step further towards the edge. There we go.
And we get Iron Boots.
Iron Boots. That is...
That makes sense.
That is Epona, actually, giving us access to these Iron Boots at the moment.
Yep, because we don't know where our long shot's at. If you find long shot in here, I think you fail for Fire Temple. Or potentially actually maybe beat Water, check Light Trial, and head for Fire Temple,
I was gonna
guess.
say,
Actually, correction, yeah. Let's see. GTG keys. Try to note those down. Big chest.
Good start.
Two.
What up?
Nice to have.
Oh.
Doesn't require
Yeah.
for anything whatsoever.
Bomb choosing big chests are amazing in early game. Can get rather annoying in the late game because of exactly things like this. You get your hopes up and then never mind.
Yep. Two heart chests on right side, no key, and I'm not seeing much of anything in the maze here.
No. Still
And that
nothing.
looks dead.
One. I think we're not carrying a base today.
Nope, I don't think we need to count the keys either much. We already know what toilet's dead, and everything else is checkable.
Hidden ceiling might be the only one that we're still looking at.
That one's also not very relevant to key anything.
Yeah, we have a key to get to it. That's all.
Yep. Just
Hello.
nice prescription game.
Yeah, it's a description. We don't care about it.
Nope, we know that's just a slingshot, and we absolutely don't need that. I hope Angles goes Spirit after this. We know he's gonna get Bo locked out of here in a minute or two. We know he needs to do that for progression at this point for his Bo, although I don't think he's done Child Spirit, so he would have to make a trip to Child for it. I think we'll have a bomb through left still. I don't actually know how he's doing Child Spirit with his current inventory. I think he did the Grom out for that slingshot. I mean, the reset and leap bombs because of it. We'll have to see his inventory when he gets next menus, I guess.
Yep. Is in any case now in Forest Temple.
Yep.
Okay, a few more checks here for Majarkin. One in the Wolfos room, 4 in the behind the Strength 2 block, and then 2 more bow-locked in the next room over.
Yep.
The one of them is a small key. One of the bow-lock checks is a small key. He already peeked that from the maze. He's not gonna worry about that one. So yeah. There is this room, the bow statue, and then that's it for GTG and Majarkin.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised this place has been this empty because we're still missing a number of items.
Do you now go Water Temple with the iron boots you just found and you hope you find your long shot along the way? Or do you go and dig in Fire Temple? If you find nothing else here, that is.
I think depends on how much he's kept track of those path prioritization logic potentially. Like if he knows that, if he's been remembering that whatever the path to Barricaded Forest is can't be locking on Longshot Irons, and I probably would go water. Otherwise, I might try fire. I don't know because you also want to find a boss key if nothing else in water. You need to go for roads you can put there.
Yeah, that's true.
Skill would be rather nice, even if it's not required. You know, both skills have to be bomb locked due to assorted earlier shenanigans. But that's not saying a whole lot because I think most of our checks left are bomb locked.
One less chance for GTG not to suck. It sucks.
Path prioritization does follow logic. KLO, it's just complicated.
Actually, I stand corrected. There's one more chance for GTG to pay out. It's still the hidden seed just to play.
Oh yeah, we didn't see that. Like as far as it nothing to do with game logic, it's other things you learn. I guess that's one way of putting it. Yeah.
Fire is not logical progression, though. That's the problem. It's not a progression dungeon. It's not a dungeon you need to beat the game. It is just...
It's logical progression behind it. We could think behind the hammer in forest, which is a little...
Hammer is your path item in forest, so...
We think. It could be strength 3, but we'd have to find Longshot to check it now, because Light Trial isn't available without beating water.
Looks like Majarkin seems to be choosing the... Wait. Oh, I mean...
Valley Rocks.
Let's split the difference. Valley Hammer Rocks is certainly a check you can do.
I mean, may as well, following that hammer, and while you're in the area, because he's not coming back here ever. And his big chest!
Is that a boomerang?
No,
it's not.
That's funny.
It's a very, very bomb-locked bow.
Very, very bow-locked bow, more importantly.
Yeah. Alright, and we are warping to the lake, so it seems like Majarkin is in the mood to follow up on Water Temple.
This makes sense.
Yeah, it does. So, what we are looking at is not terrible odds of finding the long shot in here, otherwise you can also still check around lake to see if it's here.
Oh, lake's foolish, as they just remembered.
Oh yeah, that's the thing.
We have not been paying a whole lot of attention to the foolish hints today, but lake is foolish.
Didn't come up. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, our foolish is the DMC, Hyrule Castle, Kylian Domain, which haven't been the most relevant foolishes ever today, but yeah.
Yeah, found a bomb back in Foolish Domain. Great.
I honestly forgot about. I didn't even register that we found a bomb bag in Foolish Domain when we saw it from angles. Just like, oh, bomb bag, okay. That looks like a small chest on the cracked wall.
Junk item. 1 out of 4 items done.
What's indicating Longshot in here? It's not behind Forest Temple, for starters, and other than that, there's items to be checked.
So, indication for Longshot is basically the path layering logic that exists in OOT Randomizer. You are looking at an item that cannot be behind any item that is also path for
the medallion dungeons in this.
The medallion dungeons, yeah, exactly.
So, for instance, we know our current other big play is Fire Temple, but that's behind Path to Baronade Forest Temple, which is where the hammer was. And if hammer is in fact the path to Baronade, it cannot block our long shot, because that would break the pass.
Yep.
And we are running out of places that's not behind hammer, in all honesty. Or behind the Rudo's letter, which is why we're not going Ice Cavern, which is a 50-50 of being storms, because
down there is one of the 2 Bolok checks in Water Temple. This is the Torture's chest.
Yep. Locked unless Din's is available, which apparently doesn't look like it.
Yeah, it's been hidden away. We have no idea what Din's fire is, so let's see. This could be it. 1, 2, 3 shell blades are still BS, but these ones have been dealt with well. It's just a small key.
We've now seen 1 of the 4 items in water top out, which is why we're saying there's 3 left. Because Cracked Wall was a small ground chest.
1 of 4? Whoops, sorry, yeah.
Oh, I guess, right, bow for Central Pillar and River requires 1, I guess, yeah, true. Just mixing up things. Yeah, Central Pillar also can require a bow, depending on assorted shenanigans. River Chest hard requires 1, then there's bow target and torches.
River Chest has been hinted dead, though, right? No, never mind.
Yeah.
I'm getting a seat plate.
Yeah. Ice Blade for angles is, I think guaranteed to not pay off with Longshot, and or anything else. I think at this point,
Hey,
the opponent has locked nothing, so I'm fairly sure that SFM Path to Baronade is 100% Riddle's letter, which means this cannot lock. Which means this cannot lock Longshot, and it cannot. And this has nothing to do with the Forest Temple Path to Baronade, so I think this is going to be completely useless for angles.
right, this is Central Pillar. Songs are still hard.
Yep. Cam's back at least. I don't feel angles for this. He doesn't. I don't know that he knows the path logic quite as well, and he also just doesn't have as many items as Majarkin does, in part because of the unfortunate reset earlier, and in part because of assorted things. He hasn't done Spirit Temple, which he knows where his bow is. A little surprised he went here before Spirit Temple, but he's here. Potentially also trying to gain an edge on doing something that's not as obvious.
Yep, I mean, he knows, obviously, he has reset away 35 minutes of his gameplay, so he will want to prioritize things that he thinks are a bit off the beaten path, that he thinks might not be prioritized by Majarkin, and could thus give him an edge.
Yeah, which makes sense. We just know it's probably a waste of time here.
In this case, yes. Not unreasonable, though.
No.
Here we go. Set pillar done, and is that our answer? It is not. It's a hard piece. Immediately resets. Trying to hit that hookshot target. It's rather difficult from this angle.
Yeah, I think he might have been a little... Yeah, you can get it, but it is definitely finicky here. And Majarkin can't get the central bow chest because he doesn't have hovers from Graveyard.
Interesting.
That is actually a really good point from chat.
And they are in logic.
About that. Yes.
They are completely in logic, just not a thing that he got. Oh dear.
Oh, and that feels bad. He also... I don't blame him for not wanting to go get them, because right now getting them requires the bean, which would be a good, 2 to 3 minutes rigmarole to pick it up.
Planting bean, going back adult.
Going child, buying a bean, planting a bean, going adult, and then getting it. Yeah, it's a good 3 minutes probably. I don't believe him for not doing it right now. Cavern. This is probably a slingshot or a third bow or something.
Slingshot number 17 of the seat.
Or actually, probably not a bow. I realize that would actually make things a little weird, but third slingshot would make a lot. Or maybe our last bottle is probably what's here, I guess. Or just choose. That works too. I don't think this place is actually bow locked, so that would not have worked as. Yeah, there is a strat to get the central bow target without Longshot or hovers, but it's pretty silly, and I don't blame Majarkin for not wanting to go for it if he knows it, which I don't know if he does.
I certainly don't, but interesting to know that there even is a strat.
I'm presently forgetting how it works, I just know it exists. Also note, Majarkin cannot do the water boss key chest either, because again, no hover boots and no Longshot, because Steed's being fun. We're also going to see this next room the slow way. No long shot and no hovers makes this room pretty long. You've got to shoot the switch, hookshot the target, shoot the switch
So
again,
with that-
hookshot the next one, and then repeat.
Little side note: with that Song of Storms, do you think Angles will use that to head into the well?
I would assume so. If we don't know this is Storms, this is a 50-50 Storms with the item on a song check. Tobias, I realized.
True, yeah.
Chat point out. But if this is Storms, I would follow it, given the way he's playing. Apparently the strap for a central bow target is basically standing right next to the wall on the floor above it, and there's a couple pixels you can shoot the eye target, then you just jump down. Gotcha.
I mean, okay.
If you also know the prioritization, pointing at both the nice and the well is very done split, it makes perfect sense. I mean, the other thing for Angles KLO is that Angles. Well, I think one of the early things, aside from the reset, which certainly did not help anything whatsoever, is that Angles used a couple bomb shoes in Child 1 to get light arrows from the SFM Scrub Grotto, so was unable to beat DC for Kokiri's sword, which chained into a few things, and then didn't do lens game really for one reason or another, which is why he missed out on an early bomb bag. Which and that certainly has something to do with him skipping Slingshot on the Goron City Pot, which is your Child Spirit access today, as we get our last bottle and not Storms.
Song of Storms. Okay, so Ocarina is our item check.
Probably irrelevant at this point, item check.
Yeah, we have an unfulfilled path to Baronade that is probably Hammer, but also possibly Strength at this point. And Longshot is somewhere.
It cannot be on the OT, yeah.
Yeah, that certainly can't be.
OT
Big
Boomerang
chest.
Dream is dead, I'm fairly sure. KLO, otherwise our forest path to Baronade makes no sense at all.
Okay, that is a very
Thanks.
deep first scale.
That is very, very deep.
And a small key. Majarkin seems to want that.
Longshot and Deep Flare behind the bow. I mean, it's possible, KLO. It doesn't stop the problem of that forces path to Baronade for unspecified reasons, which is... And bow here, and... Is key here.
Yeah, he wants that key because he obviously still has in his mind that he will maybe need to check boss key in a little bit. But first,
KLO,
it looks like it's
Hammer
time to
was
go
in
Child.
Forest. Yeah. Or not. KLO, Hammer was in Forest, but Hammer's not path to Morpha, it's path to Baronade, and...
Yep.
And whatever the item is that's path, whether that's Hammer or Strength 3, it cannot be blocking our long shot, because otherwise our pathing's broke. And we have a problem. Angles has forgotten that means foolish.
I mean, he wasn't the only one. We've not been paying particular attention to Foolishins either. Majarkin has just set it to the beginning of night, or has used walking into outside Ganon's castle to set time of day to the beginning of the nighttime cycle. So he's going to use his time spent getting a bean, finding a bean, to also en passant grab the Dampe check. Good choice here to in terms of just action economy. He can clean that up in the process.
Yeah. I'm guessing he just really wants to find Longshot before he chases that forest path, which I think makes sense if he if what we're assuming is right, and he's made some sense of our path prioritization. Okay, although I'm saying in chat, I'm glad to be saying the most complex logic to explain for the competition with new viewers. They aren't always this complicated. This is unusually complex for these settings. Usually, it's not this terrible. Like,
So, quick question: can the hotel lend us a whiteboard? For the in-person comms.
that would be funny. Just to start writing out everything on the whiteboard for chat to see. Although I'm not sure it would show up on the cameras very well. It would be helpful for the in-person peanut gallery, maybe, at least. Now, this is Child Spirit now, finally, for Angle, so this is him getting back on track for progression. Sadly, his trying to find things out of the way to give him an edge have gotten him not much of anywhere due to the way the seed's gone. This seed really wanted you to do Adult Spirit really early to get that bow, apparently.
Yep.
Yeah, it's true. We haven't had to explain Spirit Key logic yet because that wasn't actually relevant to much of anything today. Aside from, hey, you need 2 keys in Child Spirit behind that cack path to Morpha Requiem to go get the bow, which is very straightforward. That's not the kind of Spirit Key logic that confuses people. That's just physically getting there.
The fact that the 2 chests in the hallway in Spirit Temple couldn't have possibly been the last key, that would have been difficult to explain. But, you know, we're just not gonna.
Where was the 5th key? I don't actually know.
I think it was left hand.
Okay, I wasn't sure if it was Invisibles or left hand. It could have been either. Honestly, though, this, like, there's, like, key logic gets just logic in general gets considerably more confusing when you've got extra settings on. Like, these are still pretty tame settings. The prioritization does add a little nuance, but other than that, we're fine, as Tingle's missing the timing on this.
Here's something that I disagree with that Majarkin just did. He went back adult without having bought and planted a bead in Graveyard.
At this point, I would have done that just in case Din's,
Yeah.
because there's a very real chance it's Din's Fire Temple.
Yeah, and in general, he just, I mean, he needs those hover boots maybe for those last 2 checks in Water Temple.
That too,
because he hasn't found his boss key yet there.
No.
So this is a nice play. Okay.
That tells me he has definitely not. He's giving up. If he was keeping track with path prioritization, he's given up on it, because this should be. We know it's useless, and if he'd been keeping track, he would also know this is useless. In theory, it could have. At one point earlier, it could have been Epona's or Song of Time path to Baronade for something like GTG or River Chest and Water, but at this point, that is completely 100% dead. And then with Rudo's Letter available, a different path for Storms or something else, but at this point, we know. Rudo's Letter is the only path item in SFM, and it is for Baronade, which means it cannot lock Longshot, and it also can't lock the Boomerang, because this has nothing to do with our Forest Temple path to Baronade, which is 100% for the Boomerang because of where Letter was. So we're just gonna see like we're not seeing Longshot or Boomerang in the next 10 to 15 minutes from Majarkin while he clears ice and then do Storms checks, because I'm assuming that's what he'll do once he gets out of here. And at this point, please go and get your hovers when you go do the well, at least. But we'll see. Also having a little trouble with KZ skip here. Actually,
So,
there's possibly the long shot isn't deep fire. We don't know that we've been hammerlocked yet and running out of bowlock checks. I don't remember how many keys we saw in the first couple of checks of fire. I know there was one on the chest by Volv. I don't remember what the first chest in the lava room was. We couldn't get the second at a time because we know explosives, and we haven't seen the hammer loop.
by the way,
So it is possible
just
we
a
can
quick
climb some
explainer.
fire without hammer, but we don't know. Go ahead now.
Just a quick explainer as what Majarkin was doing here. He got set up to make Link jump off of an edge that he's normally not meant to jump off of to get on top of that wall next to King Zora that allows us to... or the jump allows us to bypass the requirement of handing Rudo's letter in to King Zora. Because he will only make the open the way to Zora's fountain if you hand him Rudo's letter. There's a way to jump across that wall to bypass it. Yeah, Nehru's love in the well.
If we see any big chests in here, we are missing our third bomb bag can be here. Our third bow can't. Our third slingshot can be quite literally anywhere. Pretty sure our other scale can be in here. Din's in here would be funny. The Zora tunic could technically be in here, although that is minorly relevant for spirit stuff. Yeah. Because remember the path prioritization, it could just be we got no twin river paths because everything, including the mirror shield, locked the bow on forearm was for forest, and then separately Requiem's path to Morpha because of keys to go get a wallet. There's a slingshot as predicted, because of there's a wallet in the Spirit Boss Key chest, which is not mirror shield locked, but it is behind Requiem. Because we don't have our Zora tunic, and well, actually no, Central plays a heart piece. Actually, never mind that now. Correction, yeah, bow has to be it. Bow has to be it for water, but it's a decent chance it's just boss key on bow target. I also wasn't counting keys. It could have been a key on bow target potentially. I'm not sure. For boss key chest being vanilla, we don't know.
anglhz doesn't quite know the technique to peek into that coffin. It's peeking from one side, and he hasn't found the right side yet. There we go.
Looks like gold rupee. Yeah. It's something yellow, and that is not light arrows and not a strength upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, actually, now we know Central Pillar was like a heart piece or something, I believe. So yeah.
It was a small key, I think.
Or was it a small key? I forget. Because whether that was a small key or useless is different stories.
I seem to recall small key, but I'll not insist on it at the moment.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. Let me go check the VOD, I guess, to see what I can look up about both water keys and that essential pillar specifically.
Anyway, so anglhz is progressing through the well fine. He's just looking through here, looking for anything that might help his case, and so far has found one big chest that was just Nehru's love, which is not helpful. The chest in front of Dead Hand also not giving him a useful item. I'm not sure if he's ever checked the hidden wall chests here. But
I'm not sure he did. Central Pillar is a heart chest, that's what I thought.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
I thought it was going to be a useful item. Sorry, I knew it was an item chest with or it was a small chest with a special texture, but I obviously got the wrong texture stuck in my head. Okay. Nope. Oh, anglhz is looking for dead hand.
I'm currently just
Did not
checking the
have-
VOD to see just exactly how many keys we saw in the water earlier.
I think we have seen 5. I know Majarkin didn't pick one up.
The compass chest you skipped picking up, yeah?
Yeah, and then he still had 2 after he was done with the Darklink loop. We must have seen at
Dragon
least 5.
chest was the dragon chest was a key.
Yeah, exactly. And anglhz seems to be done with well. I don't recall him checking the hidden wall chest on the right side of the well, nor the basement. And at least one of them has to be an item. So that's concerning.
Okay, so let's see. Scrubbing through the VOD, we saw items on central pillar, cracked wall, and river chest. We saw small keys on the map, torches, compass, dark lake, and dragon chests. We are missing a small key, the boss key, and an item, which are between the central pillar, boat target, boss key, and Morpha. Boss key is
Obviously,
obviously
boss key can't play on Morpha.
boss key is either boss key is central boat target, Morpha's the last key, and then the boss key chest is the last item, or boat target's the last key, water boss key is vanilla, and Morpha's the last item. Either way, central boat target is required to beat water temple. That's why bow is required for water. Because one of the small keys was Darklink, so that has to be our logical 6th. So big key chest cannot be our final key.
Makes sense.
So yeah, well, that means that long shot is anywhere and we have no information whatsoever. Right. Well, it can't be in the well, but we already know that, and it can't be in the Storm's Grottos, but beyond that, it can be anywhere else.
Majarkin has warped to the graveyard and is now going to head into the well.
I mean, it makes sense after ice. Serious question though, what is left that's available for a long shot? I'm actually starting to suspect it's hammer for long shot and fire, and then boomerangs and light trial, because that would actually fix both paths. Otherwise, fix our paths.
Yeah,
otherwise, we're running out of things to do.
Yeah, between these two runners, we have seen most of the game at this point. Oh, unlucky jump here by anglhz. Between this, yeah, we've seen most of the game. I would say I'm still thinking shot in water is actually a possible contender. I would not be surprised if that is
no,
a thing
we're
that
at it. We
exists in this
cannot.
seed.
We can't get the final item in water to buy us.
We can't?
Because the final. Well, actually, okay. So here's the thing. Well, we could technically but here's central bow target as either the small key or is either the last small key or the boss key. If it is the final small key, boss keys vanilla items Morpha. If it's the boss key, then Morpha's the last key and items on the boss key chest. So I guess yeah, if Majarkin gets his hover boots, he could go get that last item. I just don't know. I just don't think he's gonna go get hovers just for that at this point.
He's child again.
He could, yeah. I just don't know that it would be something he'd rush. I'd pick up the hovers just for the safety. I just don't know if he'd go further than that.
Yeah, true. My problem is that just for me, it's been top of mind, or it would have been top of mind for so long. I would have just.
Oh, I would have gotten the hovers a
would,
long time ago.
Yeah, I
at this
would have
point.
just wanted that off my stack, basically.
He has not bought beans, KLO. He did that Riverous Adult. He might rat that with like Kokiri Storms. He might rat that with the Storm Scrubbers and Frogs 1, I guess, but otherwise. Let's see. Scrubbing the VOD, by the way, are Fire Temple keys. There was one by Volv, and there was one available next in the not bomb lock check in the lava room. So it is also possible that there are more checks in fire available without a hammer if the other key in lava room is the chest in lava room is also a small key. But we'll see. I should actually write down fire keys. That would help.
Anyway, we do have hammers, so.
Yeah, but that's important to note for the Forest Baron cast.
Yeah. Fire key logic. Fire key logic. What even is this?
It's relatively simple. As anglhz is finally going to get his first bow here.
Hey.
This scene has been such a mess, even aside from path logic. It's just been so messy.
Indeed.
The fire key logic is nice. It's you go until you can't go anymore. That's what it usually is. Yes, there are a few niche cases where it gets more complicated, but usually it's just that. But it's important to note that because of the Forest to Baronade path includes a hammer and strength 3. If hammer locks longshot and fire, then strength 3 has to be the path to boomerang because it couldn't have been the hammer, otherwise hints broke. And that would be a whole other problem and a half. But it is also that we can just continue fire further if that is a small key on the bomb lock check in lava room, and then that would give us more to do in fire that could potentially have a long shot. We just don't know until Majarkin gets there, basically. And
Yep.
I'd have to assume Majarkin goes there after cleaning up storms checks here as child. There's not much left. I also probably would have gone fire myself a half an hour ago, but then again, I'm not a competitive player, and trying to think about this kind of stuff mid-seed is hard.
Yeah, the two of us, we are sitting in a comms booth. These two have actually been been successful in previous tournaments. As you said, Majarkin, for example, has been successful, has reached the semifinals of the online SGL tournament this year. So, yeah, we can talk big game, but on the other hand, we are not the ones actually running the game. So.
No,
Let's
and I know
see.
we saw anglhz in the Triforce Splits tournament as well, I believe Season 2. I'm not quite remembering this placed in offhand right now. So yeah, neither are new to the community, per se.
And
This
that's
is-
the
okay,
last
yeah,
small key in well basement, so that is all that well is going to give us. Warping to Sacred Forest Meadow.
Kokiri Storms.
Yep. Wants to check the storms checks off his list.
Yep, this makes sense. This is also basically some of his last child checks.
This is also a chance to route in beans, as I said earlier. Kokiri Storms, then
Frogs
over
1
to
and
River,
buy beans.
Frogs 1, buy beans. So let's see if he chooses to do that.
Yep. There's the wallet for anglhz. We might get our last sometimes in here. We are missing that. I don't think it's going to be very helpful at this point, but we could get it. It is a big chest.
We can also get a big chest.
Which is...
Dins.
That's-
Oh dear.
no.
Oh
That's
dear.
not what we wanted to see, game. That cannot lock Longshot. That is Rudo's letter locked. And Rudo's letter is hinted path to Baronate. That is also not Strength 3 or Hammer locked, which I think renders both Shadow Temple and Darunia dead. Remember, Rudo's letter is hinted path to Baronade, which means it cannot lock our stone dungeons. And Storms is in ice.
We could still find a boomerang there, though.
No, Boomerang's behind Forest, remember.
Oh, yeah.
Which is either Hammer or Strength 3. It does make the Torch's chest in water not bow locked. I mean, Longshot in water is dead anyway, KLO. It cannot... The only accessible check in water right now without Longshot is central bow target, which has to be a key of some type in water boss key chest, which is either the vanilla boss key or an item that can't be Longshot because that's logically Longshot lock. Longshot in water is dead. Before that, even. Just due to key things. Yeah, absolutely, but... Well, by the bean for Water Temple's sake, I guess, but... Shadow Temple is dead at this point, based on our paths, and by extension, Darunia, which is behind Shadow Temple, because Sarius is on Burning Cack.
Right.
So, Fire probably has our Longshot, and Light Shroud has very good odds of being our Boomerang, I think is where we're ended up.
I mean, I had to bring up Light Trial earlier.
You did. Longshot cannot be on Dancing Dad, KLO. We already know Central Bow Target is a key. Water Boss Key is either because Water Boss Key is either there or Vanilla, and if it's Vanilla Water Boss Key, you need the bow from Central Bow Target because River Chest or Darklink is an out-of-logic 6th key. Because a Water Temple key logic can get kind of silly sometimes too. Yes, Longshot cannot be in water. Longshot cannot be on Darunia. Din's Fire is behind Storms, which locks Shadow, which is the Fire Medallion, which locks Burning Cack for Sarias, and Storms is an Ice Cavern. That is locked behind Rudo's Letter, which is 100% confirmed our path to Baronade in SFM. Which means that it can't be path to our stones. KLO is Din's is unavailable for Burning Cack. In other words, it cannot be without Rudo's Letter, which is path to Baronade confirmed. It could have at one point been Epona's or Song of Time, but those are confirmed deader than dead.
So, quick overview of what's happening in our seed. anglhz is done with Spirit Temple, has found his bow, has found the rather concerning realization that has found the reason, at least, why there is no path hint for Twinrova, but whether he realizes that, I don't know, obviously. It is convoluted.
It is.
Meanwhile, Majarkin has planted his bean, has gone back adult. We have found the green rupee of eternal glory in the Tektite Grotto.
Okay, good. Majarkin's going Fire over Shadow, which I would do anyway, given the hammer path, and this is the better play here. Although, Where's he going first? This is not for those hover boots.
One less Storm's Grotto.
Ah, yeah, that makes sense. He also forgot DMC's foolish? Question mark? Where is he going?
Might want that hint, I'm not sure.
And he's only missing a sometimes, I think, at this point. I don't think it's worth it for a sometimes hint. Oh, DMT variant would make sense. Right, thank you, chat. I believe Angles checked that at some point earlier, but I don't think Majarkin has.
He has not.
Yeah, chat. Storms is dead for Longshot, and dead for... And by extension, also dead for Boomerang, because... Is dead for both Longshot and Boomerang because it's behind Rudo's Letter, but is not behind Forest Temple. Which means that Din's and the Kokiri Storm's Grotto is dead, so is all of Shadow Temple, and so is Saria's Song behind Shadow. Longshot's probably in fire just because we're running out of checks. Whether or not Longshot ends up being Hammerlock will determine whether Boomerang's in fire, the last item in water, or setting over
Again,
in
for
trial.
The comedy option, or no, the tragedy option actually is the last item in Water Temple. So I'm rooting for that just because.
Well, actually, no. If it was, yeah, because if Long, well, no, I don't think it can be final item in water. Come to think of it, because either Longshot is available without Hammer, in which case Hammer is Strength 3 locks Boomerang, or Hammer is locking Longshot in fire, and Strength 3 is locking the Boomerang, period. So I don't think Boomerang can be the final item in water.
Good point.
Athens! We're just apparently discussing every nuance there is about the prioritization, because this needs a headache on that end today.
For sure. Anyway, into Fire Temple we go. That is at this point one of the more dense locations in this game, and I can't believe I'm saying that.
I think it's about the only place locked in this game, Tobias. We've seen all of our other dungeons, except for Shadow Temple, which Majarkin is smartly not doing and following the path here instead.
Good choices. He's making them.
Yeah. I am going to be curious if Majarkin interviews what he thought of this collection of paths, because it's been quite a thing. As I think this is a GT play now for angles, which makes sense for the density. We know, unfortunately, that was a complete and total bust. Sadly, Top File Angle is not going to SGL in person this year, I believe, because he's gone on vacation elsewhere right now. In Korea, was it? So we will not see Angle versus Angles.
Junk item here.
Yep. In case anyone was wondering, here is the challenge for this year's in-person tournament. We had a group draw for it a few days ago, added a 24th runner after it, but was there no keys in the basement loop, by the way?
It was no keys in the basement loop. The key to progress further here was entirely available with just bombs.
That is interesting to note for our hammer's sake.
Yeah, because the next hammerlock check is a while away.
Depending where that boss key is.
Good point.
Because that's not the boss key. It could have been boss key here for a key on Rova. Not Rolla, Volv. Yeah, next hammerlock check is Volv. Otherwise, yeah, highest score run's also hammerlocked, and that's... And then, well, where the boss key is determines how much is hammerlocked in here.
Yeah, obviously. Anything behind the boss key at this point will likely be hammerlocked. Other than that, yeah, next hammerlock checked is Volvage, yeah.
Yeah, we did also have a groups draw if anyone wants to watch the funniness that was that. That was on my personal channel. I haven't saved as a highlights for the sake of posterity, I guess. Small key on shortcut. See, I feel bad for Rodraxis. Yeah, there's some pretty tough matchups here to be had across the various groups. Trying to decide how to see the groups was its own headache.
There are, to put it mildly, no easy matchups in SGL.
No, not truly.
This year.
Unfortunately, this particular race has not been the closest, but brain farts happen, I think is what I'm going to call that reset from Angles earlier.
Yeah, sure.
He's made some like overall, despite said reset, which is one of the main reasons why he's significantly behind. He's been routing decently. He's been following his hints. He knows that Majarkin has an edge on him, so he's been understandably doing some checks that are not so obvious and that just happen to not pay out. But it's hard to come back from resetting half an hour of progress. It also doesn't help that this seat's just being really, really miserable.
Yeah, it's not all dungeons, but it's basically the
it's pretty close to it at this
summary
point,
of the seat.
Yeah. Heart piece there for Majarkin.
So bow locked from here on out, no problem, we have that.
Yeah, bow is whichever. Hammer itself was bow locked as well, and just a sorted loose end.
Well, remember, hammer didn't lock any small keys, so that's the thing. Next one has to be a key, either a small key or a boss key.
Yep. Thankfully does not fall off. And
it's the boss key.
Okay, so
anything beyond this room is now hammer locked.
Yep.
So yeah, go be Volvagia and return. Doesn't seem to be too stoked about it for whatever reason.
I mean, I would at least set for Roar so you can get back up here faster.
That's easy for you to say.
Did he not? Yeah, he did not use Furores with top pile. Yeah, it's easy to forget in the heat of things. Part of the terrible pun because we're in Player Temple. But yeah, I would have set Furores because you have to go back in. You know this is a key on Volve. And you've got nowhere else to go besides Shadow Temple, but that doesn't solve anything except for why is my hammer path to someplace? Unless Majarkin's planning to clear this and go Shadow looking for a long shot, not realizing the paths, and then thinking it's strength 3 for OGC or something, which is also possible. That would be feels bad. If we see Shadow Temple, this is going to take even longer. I'm honestly not sure this is sub 3ing at this point, even without a Shadow play. As we're coming
honestly,
up on 2
at
hours
this point,
35.
I'm not sure. We will see. I'm glad tomorrow is Sunday in any case.
Yeah. Yeah, because it is getting late for you. It is now almost 2 in the morning your time?
1 a.m.
1 a.m., right. Time zone stinks.
Yeah,
We should play such over tomorrow.
No, daylight savings time. So US daylight savings time should be happening in an hour?
Tonight,
Question mark?
No, it's in like 4. Tonight's right now it's 8 p.m. It'll be in like 6 hours.
I see.
Hey, Kirby fan! Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, tough out. Hammer's path to Red, not a stone, so the long shot can't be there, but not sure why Boomerang can't. Boomerang can't be in Shadow because it's not behind Forest Temple in any way whatsoever. Boomerang can absolutely be in Fire.
Yep, that's the problem, because we have a unfulfilled path to Barony from Forest Temple at this point.
Well, actually, I don't know that Boomerang can be in Fire, because I'm not sure where Longshot can be left that's not Fire Temple.
Jabu?
No. But then why... But if it's in Jabu and Boomerang's in Fire, then Hammer couldn't have been path to Barony.
Good point.
As far as I can figure, unless I've managed to forget to overall check someplace silly, I think it just about has to... I think we're so out of checks that I think Longshot's in deeper in Fire, and which means that Hammer cannot be path to Baronade.
Gotcha. So what you...
And then
what
Strength
you also...
3 has... and with that, which means Strength 3 is path for Boomerang and Light Trial.
Gotcha. So what we also don't want to see is Majarkin bailing after finding one of either Boomerang or Longshot in here. Rather, he needs to folk there this place.
He should bail after Longshot, and if Boomerang's here, I'm confused. More like... Because if Boomerang is here, and then... that would be Hammer path to this. But then Longshot is... because Longshot cannot... Hammer... I think we're pretty much out of checks besides Fire Temple. Which everything left in here is hammer locked. But if Longshot is in here, then the hammer cannot be the path to Baronade in Forest, because that wouldn't have been a Baronade path. So Strength 3 then has to be the path in Forest for Baronade, and that means that that's Light Trial.
Okay. Get it. And that's quite plausible considering Light Trial has 8 checks.
Yeah. Skull Mask is on, but it's been hinted to be dead, like a heart piece or something.
Yep. It's even an always hint.
Yep. We actually have an always command. Also, hey Kirby fan, welcome in. Today is convoluted paths out the wazoo. Yeah, no worries, Tafile.
Just testing us. I see. Cool.
I'm also gonna just go down the list of overworld areas to make sure we've seen everything we can possibly do in this game, because I think we have. We know Crater's foolish. We've seen everything in DC, Deku, Colossus. We're in Fire right now. We've seen Forest. We've seen Fortress. We've seen Goron City, except for Darunia, but that's dead for previous discussions. We know Graveyard's cleared. GTG's cleared. Hyrule Castle is foolish. Hyrule Field is cleared. Ice is cleared and useless. Can't get to jet. Oh, I just had it. Well, no. Boomerang chest is not been checked, but cannot have a long shot in it. Otherwise, we wouldn't have an SFM to Baronade path. And it can't be a vanilla boomerang either, because then we wouldn't have the forest to Baronade path either. I've seen Kokiri, we've seen Lake's Foolish, Ranch is cleared, Lost Woods is cleared, yeah. We've seen Market, OGC, SFM, Shadow should be dead, Spirit's been cleared. Seen Temple of... I've seen DMT, Valley, Wasteland was a bottle, I think. We have one item left in the water, but it can't be either of our missing items. We've seen Well, Domain...
You have is a big chest coming up here.
Yeah. We haven't seen Castle Fairy because Hyrule Castle's foolish to fail. This is a decent chance of being long shot here. And it is. Perfect. We're out here.
Are you psychic?
I mean, there's only so much left for big chests, to be quite honest. We are slowly running out of the things. And the long shot Frodo had to be in there because we're out of places for it.
Still not leaving for Roar's Wind in here. Also, get your dang hover boots.
No hover boots, and maybe he... the fact that he went Ice Cavern tells me he lost the prioritization. He doesn't need hovers, yeah. I think he's planning to rush Light Trial after this, which should be his go mode.
Knock on wood.
If not, I have managed to majorly screw something up with patents, and we've been talking, which would be a little embarrassing given we've been talking about it all race.
We can just delete the VOD.
Shortcut was a key, Tafile. But because that long shot is hard hammer locked, hammer is not the path to Baronade and Forest, which means Strength 3 is, which means Boomerangs and Light Trial, because there's nothing in Light Trial that can lock the Boomerang at this point. Yeah, Tafile, he is leaving a key behind, which is either Highest Goron or Compass Chest, and neither matters because Boomerang can't be in fire anymore. Not that it could have been for a few minutes, I think, at this point.
Either way, we're checking boss key chest first, because that can be reached without lowering the water. Makes sense. Doesn't even need to save for this one, because there's nothing to scum back to.
Nope. I already cleared most of this place earlier. It's the setup, nice. Anglhz is going to take use of those hover boots to go get his iron boots. I had to think about a second about what this big chest was.
And big chest.
That is an item which is
item.
Bomb Shoes.
Bomb Shoes, okay. So a small key is in
Small
is
keys
in
Morpho.
central Boss-Key. Yeah, sorry. Boss-Key is in fact in central bow target chest.
And the items on Morpho, yeah. And the small last keys on Morpho, sorry, yeah. Attack Path of Morpho for Requiem for Spirit Keys for the one and only bow on the Spirit Forearmos chest, which is also why we didn't get a Twin Grova path, everyone. Let's see how HBA goes for angles. Ooh, 1470.
Or dang it. Alright, Boss-Key for Majarkin in a few seconds.
Just has to run around a bit. Huh, you can shoot the crates for 100 points?
No, he had one pot left on there.
Okay, I was wondering, I was like... Fortunately, it gets a 1470 again, so try number 3 as Majarkin heads for Morpha here.
Sometimes it's just that cursed. Alright. Gets the quick grab, gets the pin against the door, and has Morpha beat as a 0 cycle. This is something, by the way, only possible in Ocarina of Time Randomizer. The vanilla game has a cutscene here that prevents this strat from being possible. There we go, that's 1500 for angles.
3 times a charm, and he's gonna get that heart piece for his efforts. At least it's an 8th heart.
Alright, we
Morpha's
know
down.
Yeah, Morpha is going to be the last small key for Water Temple, and that is Water Temple done for Majarkin. He will now, as you predicted, as you already predicted, rush Light Trial, hopefully find his Boomerang and thus his Go Mode there, and then have to do Go Mode Jabu.
Which is still gonna be a while.
Yeah.
Sub 3 is definitely dead today. We have to... running over the Light Trial doing Go Mode Jabu is more time than things. Alright, Majarkin's Angel's seeing that big chest of Hamrocks, which we know is a very, very locked bow, and he's off to Forest Temple, so this will be back to Forest Temple to finish it, and he'll get his Hammer and Strength 3 out of here, both of which are required today, because shenanigans.
Is Engels playing with keyboard, by the way?
I've been wondering about that with some of his aiming. I honestly am not sure. He plays on a different controller, I think. Hi, Nobly. That would make sense potentially if that's not the controller he's used to with LTTPR. Because Nobly, I know, knows angles from LTTPR.
I see.
Fellow member of the LTTPR Nordic community, if memory serves. Unless I'm totally bonkers. Well, I think he is used to it. Yeah, potentially. Just maybe something a little different. I don't know. It's not. I don't exactly talk to him much about his controller preferences. Admittedly, that's not something that tends to come up in conversation. But emulator aim is yikes. Yeah, this also just paths can be finicky. This is also just not Angles' main game because he is more tends to be more on LTTPR, although he probably plays other things. There's our last bomb bag, extremely bomb locked, and go.
And banana, there we go. Majarkin dropped for Roar's Wind in here, so we'll be able to return quickly. Now it's just about 10 minutes to beat Jabu. Even as go mode, this dungeon is rather long and time consuming. Getting there takes time too.
Yep.
Though he did find a scale, right?
He did find a scale that was river chest. River chest.
Which does mean that we are likely going to see him at least getting quickly to Zora's domain via lake.
I'd assume so, yeah. And there's Serenade. Never saw the other scale. We know it has to be bomb locked, but then it's probably like a Shadow Temple or something. Four sticks should be enough here. Also, let's go carry sword anyway, so we would fight. Ice arrows are not blue fire arrows, no worm in these settings, it's just regular old ice arrows.
Okay. I mean, what is there to say about Gomo Jabu? Jabu is a dungeon. It is not my favorite, to be honest. It's rather long. It's very linear. It is. There's only a few choices you can make. In Go mode, you can skip 2 rooms. Namely the boomerang chest room and the room with the bubbles in it, or the shabombs, I should say, because bubbles is the name for another enemy in OT. What's there to do in Jabu? We need to pick up Princess Ruto from the basement, get her back upstairs, use her help to find the remaining, or to get access to Baronade by killing several parasitic tentacles. and then through another detour, lose her to being ambushed by Big Octo, then beat up Big Octo, make our way to Baronade, beat Baronade, and then Ruto will appear back again, and we will have beaten the dungeon.
Yep.
Meanwhile, we are looking at anglhz in Forest Temple, beating the blue Poe, that is Beth. The Poe's named after characters from the TV series Little Women, which apparently won, or several developers at Nintendo back then were very fond of.
Sorry, I'm busy typing things a bit, reading through Discord as well.
I see.
Yep. And no, they were pretty much in the clearing things out mode. anglhz is gonna find, what was this again? Hammer here in the checkerboard room.
Exactly. We'll know that he, with that path hint, we'll learn that he will have to go and beat Fire Temple, or we will think that anyway. But it turns out, actually, this is a path to, or the path item is actually going to be the strength he's going to find in the basement for finding the boomerang to beat Baronade in Light Trial inside Ganon's castle. Princess Ruto got the Spirit Medallion, but why Princess Ruto? Hi, Wayfaring Fox, welcome in. So what happened was, unfortunately, a save quit without the save part on anglhz's part. He lost about 35 minutes of gameplay, and obviously a mistake like that isn't really FPA-able.
No,
So,
that's just
had to
a
catch
you
up.
had a brain fart.
Yep, he just had to catch up on his own.
Yep. FPA is for unavoidable things that are out of your control. Save quitting without the save is just you having a brain fart, unfortunately. That aside, Majarkin, your hard last location, Fire Temple, aside from the only other option was Fire Medallion Shadow, and the path hints with how they are prioritized between stows and meds got complicated.
We're gonna talk about that more in the interview.
Yep. I will say though, this is a reflection, like, kind of skill level here for Majarkin, that he's done like 90% of the seed. The only thing really left is Shadow Temple and a handful of checks and cannons, and it's gonna be a little over 3 hours here for him, despite everything.
That's true. In the end, just looking at this community and at the skill skill ceiling, skill level in general in this community. It has come a long way since Season 4 when I kind of wandered my way into this community. Back then, all dungeons meant just about 4 hours of walking around the map. Nowadays, all dungeons can be beaten basically in 3 hours, 3 hours 30 if the item placement is particularly evil. That is Baronade beat for Majarkin. All that's left to do is go back adult, find the nearest dungeon, use the Four Rose Wind he dropped in Ganon's castle, and then climb up the tower and beat up the big bad.
Yep. Alright, there's Prelude for Jarkin,
Yep.
and Phantom Cannon is happening for Angle. Alright, Phantom Cannon down, that's going to be a second stone for Angles. Missing Longshot, missing Boomerang, and we know where both are. Depends. Only Majarkin's almost done, but I'm curious to see if Angles will go fire immediately here.
Let's see. Engels is picking up that heart container. Can't blame him.
Yeah. And happy 3 hours, everyone.
Happy. Right. There we go. There's Ganon's castle for Majarkin. What's left to do? Well, first... you're going to have to... deal with this Alphos, which Majarkin just did admirably. Nophos, actually, I think. And slaughter some skeletons.
Angle's checking OGC, which makes a lot of sense, chasing that path.
Yep. Checking that strength, chasing that strength pass absolutely makes sense. Now it is time to kill some Knuckles. These two also affectionately known as Salt and Pepper.
Yep, for the color scheme here, one black, one white.
Yeah.
Good thing Majarkin has double defense.
Yeah, and since oh dear, really good thing that he has double defense. Since canonically Iron Knuckles are cursed Gerudo fighters, also affectionately known as the Spice Girls.
That's one I haven't
First,
heard much.
in other words, the first nickname begot the second.
I actually haven't heard that one before, I think.
Shoutouts to Benji Reese for that one. And now that you've dealt with the Dinolfos, you've slaughtered the skeletons, you've killed the Knuckles, now you get to grill Ganondorf.
Yep. We're gonna listen to him tell us about You'll Never Be Me Without Those Light Arrows from Lost Woods that we found forever ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Into jump slash and then do the hammer crouch stab strats from Majarkin. Actually, nobody guessed a good point. Ouch! Ew,
That was quite the ideal Ganon fight.
Not quite. Ouch. Probably making Majarkin a little nervous here. He doesn't know where anglhz is, and it's been 3 hours.
Yeah, you know that SGL settings are usually rather quick. And, I mean, Star, you said early on the normal times for these seeds are between 2 and 2.5 hours, and if it goes past 3, something has gone horribly wrong. And, I can only say the statement has absolutely held up.
Yeah. This could have been quite a bit faster for Majarkin if he'd just rushed Fire Temple. But, well, he didn't, and here we are. anglhz has rushed Fire Temple. Won't quite find his long shot before Majarkin finishes, but is on the right track.
Again, looking back, anglhz definitely has routed this well, has followed his hints and his paths very well, has shown some good execution, and I mean, for want of that brain fart, I think he would have been contending for the win here.
He would be much, much closer. I don't know how much time he exactly lost, but he had to redo a lot of those early checks.
Yeah, based on his own words, apparently about half an hour. I think it's more 35 to 40 minutes. Either way, it's a lot.
Yeah, for his own words. Right. Context as well, we are doing a 15-minute delay for these group matches that are played online. Of course, a delay will not be required for any actually played in person in Virginia. Majarkin's been done for about 15 minutes, and
oh no, I've lifted the curtain a little bit.
And there we are. GG's here to Majarkin, gonna take a game here and put him up to 1-0 here, and this will be Group A.
Group A, indeed.
With an official racetime.gg time here of 3 hours, 5 minutes, and 57 seconds. GG. And anglhz has understandably decided, I'm done with this.
Yeah, has immediately decided to forfeit. So should hopefully... I think both of them were interested in joining us for an interview, is that right?
Yep, well, they'll both be joining us for an interview, just need to make sure they can get the invites, because there's been a tech issue.
They're already here.
Yep, just need... Here's anglhz, yeah. And gonna let Majarkin know he can hop
in here in a second, I guess. But yeah, hi anglhz, GG.
GG's. A little bit unfortunate. I thought I had saved.
Yeah. That was the real issue with this race for you. Hey, Majarkin, GG.
Yep, GG's. Oh, I feel dumb. That was a big dumb.
I think the path hints this seat made anyone feel dumb.
Yeah, because I tracked the bow here. It was Sile Sword to Bottle to get Ice Cavern, to get Storm, to get Sling from bottom to well to be able to do Sile side of Spirit is what I'm getting at.
No angles. There was a slingshot on Goron Pot.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's
well,
your
I
logical
didn't find
slingshot.
I didn't find it, so
That's
So-
fair.
The biggest logic is why SGL is a little bit different. So items on the path to your medallions cannot lock items for your stone. Or
okay.
So because Rudo's was path to Jabu there, anything behind Rudo's could not have anything for the stone dungeons. And I forgot
Okay.
about that until after Bottom the Well, and then I just cleaned up a couple more storms going, just in case. And I basically had Fire Temple and Shadow left. And I should have, my route should have been beat Forest. I think going to GTG right away was fine still. But then after
that wasn't a terrible play in my opinion, but I would have gone Fire after that.
It should have been Fire immediately. I should have been going, okay, is Hammer the path to Jabu? Or is it the Strength 3? Right? That would have been... If it was path to Jabu and Boomerang was in Fire, I need to do it anyways, right?
Yep.
So it's progression. So you just do that and figure it out. You get Longshot there. By going GTG first, I would have Irons, and then you just go beat the Seed. And yeah. But I did everything else.
One thing though that was funny was with my accidental not saving and resetting was that I had the 2 bomb shoes and getting those 10 extra bomb shoes from CAC. Okay, that was funny.
That really helped, actually.
Yeah. You because during your Child 1 pre-reset, Majarkin, you Angles did the Lost Woods Bomb Grottos and got lights on the way into SFM. You did Wolfless Grotto and then left and did those Bomb Grottos later, so Angles didn't have enough bomb tubes to go to the back of DC and kill King Dodongo there. Ended up getting the Kokiri Sword much later post-reset.
Yep.
Reset was about 45 minutes in for context.
Yeah.
I'm
guessing...
I was using most of my bomb shoes in Lost Woods instead of heavy pivoting to DC.
So I decided to heavy pivot to DC because I forget where the second copy of the path was, but it was DC to Phantom Ganon in River, and I went River first. And so I went, oh, it could just be the bow. And then I figured out, because I didn't get a bow in there, I'm like, well, somehow something in here has to lead me to bombs to get this. And then I had the other DC path, and it was just on the treasure chest game. So I got bombs pretty early, which helped out a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Those were some funny paths. The DC was double path to Phantom Cannon for both Lens and that Kokiri Sword, because Kokiri Sword locks both Minya and Saria's on Prelude and Burning Cack. And then that Lens locked your bombs, which locked everything. Ranch was path to KD for the Strength for Lens for bombs.
I had to actually look back at my VOD for that star. I was like, wait a minute, it's not in Fire, we're locked by bombs or hammer. Wait a minute.
Yeah, and then we found it very, very interesting when this was during your Child 1, not Child 1, this is Child 2, I think, Majarkin, when you routed over to Deku Tree, you played Serenade and then routed over there by way of South Field, so you got a forest path to Baronade Hint, which is our final path on Restream. We're like, game? Why did we not have a Twin Roma path?
Yeah, that was interesting.
And the
at that
Twin Roma
point-
path got eaten by that bow all the way at the top of Spirit Temple, basically. But we were
It was Mirror Shield locked, yeah.
Yeah, we knew from that point that there had to be something Mirror Shield locked, because otherwise it's really rare for Twin Roma paths to get completed in, because Mirror Shield locks so little. Like, it couldn't have just simply been the wallet, for instance, for key logic or whatever, because the wallet was not mirror shield locked, for instance. You could have, like, if it had been much of anywhere else in Spirit, you would have gotten a key. You would have gotten at least a mark in the Tornado path for that mirror, so yeah. That was fun. And then, yeah, we knew that Ice Cavern had to be dead, and by extension, if it was a song with storms, and then behind that, because Rudo's letter. It was still possible for one of the songs in SFM. Opponents were song a time to be passed at one point, but then it turns out, nope, it's not that. Nothing in GTG or HBA. Rudo's letter is 100% the path in SFM, which means that Storms is nothing, which meant Dins was nothing, which meant Shadow was useless. Thankfully, he did not go in there, Majarkin. I was a little worried by that.
I never found Din, so I'm happy.
Fury Storms Grotto.
Oh, okay.
So, Star, you mentioned my unique routing on Child 2 to go to Deku, right? So what I was thinking, I'm like, I could just run there, but I'm like, I have these southern field ones that I'm pretty much never going to go to, and I get hints out of them, and I'm still missing a lot of sometimes, and I think I was missing a couple of, like, the Skull Mask or something like that, and of course one path.
Missing loose ends, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like, you know, I can get it, and then I'm also going, well, bombs have been locking a lot, and, you know, just go and do it, because what am I going to do when I go to GTG eventually, right? I'm going to reverse. I'm not going to ride Epona.
Right.
With the Valley hint being dead as well, so...
Yeah, the fact that we got the hint about those two locations really screwed up so that south of Hyrule didn't feel as much value.
So I chose that route. It was a little bit slower to get to Deku, but I got 3 hints and 3 item checks along the way, so I thought it was worth it. That's why I made that decision. Slightly slower.
It made sense.
At the same time, I was trying to buy myself some time. I'm like, what could Deku have? I'm going, is it the bow? But then I was starting to think about song logic. I'm like, hopefully this isn't leading me to have to get Saria's, right? Because we were down. I think we were only down to that location for Forest. So
I think we knew that point on the race stream that Minuet was almost certainly on Prelude, because we knew it was probably not an Ice Cavern, given that Ruda's letter was likely the path to Baronade to SFM, and although we didn't know that for sure at the time, and Kokiri Sword was probably the logic for songs. No, that was obvious as a potential fairly early, and then confirmed. Not. So it took a little while longer to confirm for sure.
Yeah, but that's why I decided to clear the rest of Child, Lostwood / Goron City that I could right afterwards, because I'm like, I guess these bombs have to lock something else. I knew they locked the hook shot in River, even though I got that without them. But I'm like, Bow has to be somewhere here for this. So, and then I found the slingshot, and I'm like, well, that makes it my path easier into Spirit here, because I didn't have chews at the time. I was gonna collect money and buy some chews from the night market, but I found the slingshot instead.
Yep. Yeah, there was definitely shenanigans. We thought the Cac path to Morpho was Requiem for ZL originally, but eventually you got the lens, you got bombs, you got we knew hovers were on the graveyard crate, so you never picked those up, Majarkin. So it couldn't have been for ZL because you could cross the wasteland. And then
what was it to go into Nick and
Goron Tunuko's man on roof, but there was a wallet in field, so it couldn't have been that.
Yeah, then I never got on that path. Then that was only 2 things I knew.
It was Requiem for Spirit Keys angles on Child side, which you needed to get the bow, because that was the only bow in the seed.
Oh god.
That was the only available bow with Spirit Temple. The one on Hammer Rocks, you peek the big chest on Hammer Rocks near the end angles, that was your second bow.
I picked that one
and that
up.
one is hard bow locked because Hammer was in Forest.
Yeah.
And your third bow, according to the spoiler log, which is now available now that you're done, that wasn't Jabu. That was the big chest there.
Oh god.
You had to get that bow from Spirit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'm assuming that bow was boomerang locked.
The bow and jabu, yes, had to be.
Yeah.
Casitos is.
It could have been stingers, but I didn't actually.
I'm not
I
sure.
know it can't be stingers logically.
No,
Never mind.
stingers couldn't have been it, because otherwise you wouldn't have. The spirit bow wouldn't have been path. And then the final bit there, like, because fire was a last location for you, Majarkin, besides Shadow Temple. And by that point, it's like, okay, we've got Forest Path to Baronade. It's either Hammer or Strength 3. Let's go see what this fire key layout is, because either Longshot was available in Fire before Hammer, and then Boomerangs and Deep Fire were potentially Light Trial, or Hammer locks Longshot, which then means it can't lock Boomerang, and that means Boomerangs in Light Trial.
Oh yeah, as soon as I saw that big chest, and I forgot to put Feora's in fire, and I felt really bad. As soon as I got that, I'm like, well, it's in Light Trial. I had the logic figured out. I was just debating with myself the whole time, and eventually you probably saw the switch flip when I didn't go into Shadow, because if I thought, I would have picked Shadow. It's more check dense, right? But I went, no, it can't be there, and just went fire. So I did the other 2 checks first that I had left in logic. But yeah, I full cleared besides for upper fire and Shadow.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of Ganons, so I feel bad because I should have been in go mode like at the 2-hour mark maybe, instead of at the 250. So
it could have been faster. Like, I get the GTG play for the density, particularly if you think it's Hammer Path for Baronade, which means that and Longshot's not there. GTG would make sense, but otherwise, yeah. It is tricky though. If you guys watch this race stream back, we spent pretty much most of this race talking about paths and how they worked and what that meant for the scene. It's complicated stuff.
I always get confused.
To be fair, that is what I did when we were doing the finals for the online portion.
Yeah.
I'm kind of confused, so yeah. It won't happen in person, so I look forward to it. I'm super excited.
Yeah, that's gonna be so much fun.
I'm really looking forward to it.
That is my first real trip by myself, so.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it'll be nice to see you there.
Same.
I guess I should ask you one quick question. From Chat Angles. Tell me around has a question for you. You guys might notice that Angles only has 1 magic meter.
Yep, I do.
Oh.
Angles, something we all found out today is that if you don't get sub 1 minute on Dante, at least in Modern Rando, you get a red rupee on the second check.
Oh, okay.
The one he drops, yeah.
That's interesting.
You were 61 seconds according to Chat Angles, so check the VOD.
I didn't even realize it.
We figured you probably didn't because you were just barely missed it. That was your other magic meter.
Oh god.
It didn't matter though.
It didn't matter, but my goodness, that could have been so much worse.
Oh yeah. That could have been bad.
I could have been so hard stuck.
I almost got a 47. I was so close. I was sad.
Yeah. Well, if I hadn't been playing too much multi-world, I wouldn't have turned to that and start walking forward that rupee. So I'm gonna blame that.
Yep.
All right.
You're also playing in another SGL tourney, right?
LTTPR was it? Yeah.
Yep, I am.
Yeah, so good luck in that.
Yep. That's gonna be a lot of fun as well.
Yeah, for sure. So I will shout out here that this is for the Speedgaming Live 2023 in-person event in Herndon, Virginia, this coming week from November 9 through 12. A whole bunch of us will be there in person. They'll be doing restreams for that. Not sure if we'll do any other restreams of online groups matches before then, depending on volunteer availability and what gets scheduled, of course. But we'll have plenty going on. There's a whole bunch of tournaments there. There's going to be a lot of people there. I think it's like close to 200 people in the match arena nowadays. They've got a lot of events. They've got the LTTPR, they've got the OTR, they've got Wind Waker Rando, Super Metroid, Zelda 1 Rando, we've got Super Metroid Zelda 3 Rando, there's Mega Man, and Final Fantasy, and Super Mario Bros. 3. So plenty going on. We hope to see y'all around in chat as well as for those who are going. It'll be a pleasure to see y'all in person. I think that's about it here for us. If you want to do some shoutouts, Tobias.
Yeah, sure. I think that just about wraps us up. Was what I was about to say. Thanks again to Majarkin and Anglhz for putting on a heck of a show for us today. Obviously, commiserations, Anglhz, that you had to experience your first group loss in this way. But hey, not all is lost. You still have plenty of opportunities. At least 2 more matches to get your points, get your wins in, to make it to brackets. Likewise, congratulations, Majarkin, for getting that first win on the books. Thanks also to our awesome tracking team, Worm and Warm Traveler, for helping us make sense of this whole mess, and not just feeding the trackers that you see on stream, but also feeding a big old spreadsheet in the background with data that makes even me look vaguely competent. And thank you also to my co-commentator Star for being here, for being the admin for the tournament, and looking forward to seeing you all in less than 3 days. Good grief. No,
Yep.
4 days.
4
Anyway,
days, yeah.
soon.
Today's the 4th. Yeah. See you all around. And have a good night.
See you around. Have a good night. Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.